Hello, both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome, everybody, to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Tuesday, so you know what that means. The favorite day of my week always starts with Tuesday because we have some hidden gems here. And y'all know every Tuesday we have some phenomenal gems who come on, talk about their businesses, some of the amazing things that they're doing in our community organizations. I'm excited, y'all. So this is my favorite show of the week. I'm here for all of our new people tuning in every Tuesday, 7 p.m. This is where you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, any of one of our social media handles, streaming live, okay, for our Hidden Gem segment where we will continue to uplift our Black and brown businesses as well as those community leaders and organizations that do positive things to impact the Black community. The Bishop is back. Y'all see me? The Bishop is back. I'm here. Pretty Tony. I was out of town. Y'all was holding it down. I mean, look at Pretty Tony, y'all. She be holding it down for both sides of the conversation, representing. She make all of both sides of the conversation gear. We got some new gear coming out, y'all. Tony know how to make it look so good. Tony, welcome back. What's going on, Queen?
What's up, Bishop? You was missed a little tiny bit, but I feel like I really haven't seen you in a long time. I'm happy it's Tuesday. I'm happy that we here. Just in case this is your first time watching this show, my name's Tony Rochelle. I'm one of the both sides of the conversation co-hosts. John abandoned us. He was in Vegas doing his thing, and we was holding it down. But we really did hold it down. So if you missed Sunday's conversation was our youth conversation show, and it was a very powerful topic, and they held it down. And we know sometimes we come with these heavy conversations that's much needed, and conversations that people don't that are afraid to talk about, but we are not afraid to talk about anything on this platform. So if it's something that you want to hear, or you got an idea, or what you want us to talk about, make sure you follow us on our social media. Make sure you tap in with us, and we will make it happen, because this is our platform, but this is y'all platform too. Right, Bishop?
Man, the Bishop, thank you. The greatest thing about Vegas was this. I didn't go in no chapels. I didn't come out of Mary.
Oh, Lord. I can't do Vegas life no more. I'm too old for that. I can't be walking and drinking and all that kind of stuff. I'm over it. So I hope you have fun.
The Bishop was in the house at 9 o'clock. Okay, I was in the house. I wasn't.
That would be me.
I wasn't out on those streets. Okay, I'm not on the streets. I wasn't out there in the streets like that. But it was a great event. Shout out to our Good Times gang. Want to just highlight them. The cigar event was amazing. The Big Smoke event was popping. Nice to see all of our Bay Area chapter and all of the Big Smoke folks who came out in all of the cigar clubs that came out in style and elegance. The folks just showed out and had a great time. Great event. And if you missed it next year, you got to check it out. Big Smoke is popping. It was great. A lot of cigar smoke. If you don't like cigar smoke, probably not the place for you, but it was definitely a great event and just happy to be around some real good brothers and good sisters. So we had a great time. We're back, a little time away from me, but back to business. Okay, the holidays is coming up, Thanksgiving is coming, a lot of things that we're going to be doing out in the community, working with our community partners, doing stuff as an organization. We're going to be impacting some families, a lot of things that we're going to be doing this holiday season. So make sure you stay tuned. There's a lot of events, a lot of turkey giveaways. Okay, community, if you don't know where to go get a free turkey or some ham, check us out. Okay, we'll be telling you, check out our social media handles. People are going to be sending us the information where our people could go and get supported. We know the discretionary funds are getting tight. Money has been tight. The layoffs continue in this country. More and more corporations are laying folks off at this last minute. Terrible before the holidays, but these things do happen. So again, tap in with us. We'll tell you where the resources are, where you could get free food, where you could get some support, and maybe you unhoused. There'll be a number of shelters and things that we're going to be doing to help impact those folks as well. A lot of resources that we'll be making sure community know about. So with that being said, Tony, let me go ahead and get into our world news. You know, some of the other things that's going on with our events, and then we'll get started and bring up these phenomenal hidden gems tonight. Okay. With that being said, I know everybody in the community heard about the shooting that took place at the University of Virginia. The suspect was arrested, but it was 3 people who were killed, 2 people were wounded. And it's just very, very tragic situation. Again, our youth had our Sunday conversation about gun violence. This violence in our community continues to impact our community. It is terrible. We have some work to do. All right. And I know people's like, who is it? Who is it? It's a brother. Okay. He look just like me and you. Again, like I tell people, violence is not exempt to any race, any class, any gender. Okay, if we don't get a handle in our community of how to deal with anger, fear, and pain, and deal with some of the things that trigger us, and this mental health that we continue to talk about, Tony, is very real. All right. We got to continue to address the mental health in our community. But again, condolences to those families. Very tragic. Okay. It is getting bad in America. You can't go anywhere without a shooting happening or some violence. We got to do a better job, community. And we got to continue to make sure that mental health is on the forefront of all of our minds. It is that time where we just opened up. Okay. We know we're coming to the holidays. It's stressful. People have lost loved ones. Families are dysfunctional. People can't sit at the table together. But this is the time that we got to just wrap our arms around community and community folks. Show love. Okay. Keep those prayers up and just make sure that you stand with the people, connect, and just having some humility this season, man. It's tough for a lot of folks. It is always a struggle for a lot of folks during this time of the year. Also, 15,000 Iranians reportedly are facing execution over the anti-hijab riots that took place for the 2-month-long thing. Again, here in America, we think about certain things. We have a voice, we have a right. But in other countries, okay, people cannot speak up and say their words. These 15,000 folks, okay, will be probably executed by their courts in the coming days. Very, very concerning news. But again, you know, we complain about the things that we deal with in America, but just imagine speaking up or just, you know, standing in solidarity with things you believe in and your life could possibly be taken. Other countries, different laws, different rules. But what some brave people to know that their life could be taken and they still stood up for what they believe was right. So kudos to them. Very, very unfortunate situation. And we'll do our best to keep everybody updated what the information was going on. Terrible, terrible stuff. But again, this is what's going on across the world. Also, the city of Philadelphia is apologizing for decades of medical experiments on Black people incarcerated in their area jails from the early 50s through the 70s. They are coming forward now. A lot of the activists and prisoners who were locked up or illegally experimented on by Philadelphia medical facilities. And again, when we talk about medical institutions across this country, and folks asked during COVID, why is Black folks so afraid of the medical institution? Okay, there's been harm in our community. So folks who don't understand, there has been harm. A lot of these things have happened not only in jail, but we've had the experiment on women who have babies. Different things have taken place to Black folks unknowingly. illegally, whatever you want to call it. And again, these are the traumas that impact our community. And this is why when it comes to these services and resources, and you hear these institutions saying, hey, we want to connect with the Black folks, we want to get them, and we want to help. And this is why it's such a big pushback. And people always saying, well, why Black folks won't come and get the help? Because these type of things have impacted our community. And we have lost a lot of trust. And again, the medical institutions and medical communities are going to have to do a better job of making sure that Black folks are protected and making sure that what they're saying they are doing and not experimenting on our people. If they really want to have some type of solidarity or some kind of union with our Black community, is going to be a struggle. And we still seeing it now as people are trying to get vaccinations for flu. People are still afraid, okay? And that's part of that trauma from what the medical community has done to Black folks in the Black community. And again, we got work to do. So again, when we talk about equity, when we talk about inclusion and diversity that everybody wants to scream out, okay, we got to really see what that looks like and how are we really impacting and engaging with community. So more to come on that. We got some medical folks that we're going to be talking to. I am on this medical kick, y'all. Y'all know last year we said the whole year 2022, when we said we was coming new for 2022, we said we was going to focus on financial wellness and health and wellness, okay? And I've received some disturbing news from some community folks who have been into our health institution, and some things that has taken place should not have taken place. So again, there's some conversations that I'm going to be having with a number of medical advisors. I've already reached out to some folks, but again, I am disturbed by the amount of emails and information that I've received from some of our large medical institutions on how Black folks are still being treated, discriminated in these medical realms, and they got to stop. So again, we're going to use our voice. We're going to use our connections with the community to bring some of these issues up to some of the medical advisors of these institutions and see if we really can bring some change to these medical facilities. But it's a lot of work, community, and we're going to keep fighting. That's what we do here at both sides of the conversation. We're going to use this platform. We're going to use our outlet, our community engagement, to make sure that the voices of our community are uplifted, the issues that continue to impact our community is being addressed, and we're going to make sure we organize and make that happen. So be patient, more to come, and again, we'll keep you updated as we move through these spaces and these places, all right? With that being said, it's the community events announcement. I know a lot of people are tuning in, trying to figure out what's going on, where can I get something free? Most of these events are free events, okay? So community, check out what's going on. First off, we got the job fair that's happening Wednesday, November the 16th. That is tomorrow. Get out there, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the San Francisco Public Library, 100 Larkin Street in San Francisco. If that is you, if you're looking for a job, maybe you just got laid off, throw your suit on, get dressed, get ready to press. Bring your resume. You might get hired on the spot, okay? All y'all people looking for jobs out there, right on the spot, you might get hired. Be ready. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the San Francisco Public Library, a major hiring session going on for folks in community. Also, we have the community listening sessions taking place tomorrow as well from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. This is going to be at the Booker T. Washington Community Center, 800 Presidio Ave. For y'all that don't know what's going on with these community listening sessions, the San Francisco Human Rights Commission with a number of other organizations are going after these pre-tech stops that the San Francisco police are doing. And they want to hear from community. If you got pulled over by SFPD for maybe your windows being tinted, or maybe not having a front license plate, or maybe something weird, or just they want to pull you over because you're Black and driving, okay? These are the kind of things that they want to know. They're trying to implement policies. They're trying to put something in place where San Francisco police can no longer use those type of things to stop people in our city. And we're hoping that this movement in San Francisco will start to move across the state and across this country, because we know a lot of these traffic stops could end up ending our lives or any other type of things taking place when we interact with community police. So again, great stuff. There's a number of them. We're going to announce all across the city. Make sure that you could get to one of these events and make sure that you let the community and the commission know about your experience being pulled over by San Francisco police. Also, the East Oakland Small Business Alliance. Join the Alliance is happening Wednesday, November the 16th, which is tomorrow, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Axford Apartments at 9400 International Boulevard in Oakland. It's an RSVP event. The information is up on the screen. Make sure y'all get out there. Oakland, we're trying to connect. We're trying to make all of our people know how to get in there. If you got a business, you want to know more about the Alliance, please get to that event. Also, What's the Scoop Ice Cream grand opening is happening this Thursday, November 17th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Them brothers came on here about a year ago, okay, and they are finally opening up their spot. It's 5668 3rd Street in San Francisco. Please get out there and support a Black business. Y'all know me. I'm going to get out there and support them. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it on Thursday because we got a show. We got things going on. But believe me, before the end of the week, I don't care if it's 32 degrees outside, Tony, I will be getting me some ice cream to support a Black business, okay? We'll make sure that we out there.
I hope they got cookies and cream. That's my favorite.
They gotta have that, okay? I don't know. I'm gonna let the community know by this Sunday what they got going on, but I'll be out there to make sure that we support What's the Scoop Ice Cream. That is a Black business community. I know it's cold, but take the babies out there and get them some ice cream this holiday season, okay? All right. With that being said, the Dreamkeeper Update community update meeting is happening Thursday as well, the 17th, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. There's a registration link for all the folks out there want to know what's going on with DKI, who's doing what, where the events are, where the resources. Please tap in. They're going to be giving a community update. Pretty good stuff for all y'all that's been asking how to get connected, what's going on. This will be a great meeting with that information. Also, the 100% College Prep HBC College Tour informational meeting is happening this Thursday. Okay, the 17th is going to be in person and virtual at 6 p.m. It's at 1201 Mendale Street. Please, parents, if you have young folks who are graduating this June, okay, get them over there so they can be a part of this tour, so they can go check out some Black colleges and see if they want to join or be a part of one of those HBCUs, all right? Very important stuff. Also, we're calling all the gamers. We know y'all like to play all these video games. This Friday, November the 18th, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at City Hall, they're going to have a gaming tournament. If you have young folks out there that like to play video games, you know, mom, when you knock on the door, every time you go in there, your son got his head on the video game and he's shaking it. Take him out to the tournament. Maybe he can win some money, check out what's going on, meet some other gamers. It's a great event. It's a Stop the Violence event, a great event to bring young people together to play video games. And it's going to be in front of City Hall. Maybe our mayor, London Breed, might walk out there and play a few games with the young people. You never know when you're at City Hall who's going to pop up. But both sides of the conversation, we will pull up. I'll be out there for a minute just to get a feel of the vibe, what's going on. So shout out to my sister Keish Cares for putting this event together with a number of community organizations coming together. SF Rebels, another number of community partners that's going to be out there. But your boy, I will be there. I will go. I don't play video game, but I'll figure it out. Okay, I'll play one hand with somebody. I don't know. All right. The Mackey Karma's first annual suicide awareness and prevention community event is happening Saturday, November the 26th, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it's going to be at the Hamilton Park Rec Center at 1600 Gary Street in San Francisco. Again, we're going to continue to do our part. Y'all know a couple of weeks ago, we had a conversation about Black male suicide and Black suicide in our community. It is increasing, and we are headed to these holiday months. And we know in our community, suicide among Black folks especially are increased during the holiday season. We want to keep bringing that awareness and bringing action to our community. If you could get out and support this, or maybe you know somebody who committed suicide, this is a great event to not only uplift the awareness, but make sure that our community folks are being checked on in this holiday season. Community, do your part. Call your loved ones. Check on them. You never know who's going through something this holiday season. Money might be tight. People feeling bad. They can't buy their kids all the gifts. Check on your folks. People be going through stuff. And let's make sure that we don't lose another life this holiday season to suicide. Also, our Asian and Black community cookout is happening Sunday, November the 27th. This is a free event, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Crossing, 200 Folsom Street in San Francisco. This is going to be an event that we are a part of, okay? Both sides of the conversation. This is one of our events. We're partnering with our Asian community. This is going to be a great narrative shift event. Again, come out, okay? We hope it don't rain. Now, if we get the weather and they say it's raining, we're going to have to cancel the event because I don't want people out there melting because, you know, I will melt, okay? Rain makes me melt, so I won't be out in the rain, all right? But we'll keep everybody updated 1 week, okay? Before the event, we'll be checking the weather, but if we do get a sign that there's going to be rain. We're definitely going to cancel the event. So I'm giving community a heads up now. Okay. It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. If it's raining, we will cancel the event. If not, we'll be out there having some great food. We're going to have some great Black food vendors. We're going to have some great Asian food vendors. We're going to have some games, a lot of great things to bring our communities together, talk about some of the things that we need to talk about, and just supporting each other at this first annual event. All right. The next event is the Field Collective and Writing by Authors. Okay. All of our young authors out there, our young writers who want to be a part of this event, ages 8 to 18, Wednesday, December the 7th. 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the City Hall's assessor office. They're going to be doing some great information, some writing programs, and you can get some information to do this on your writings. Please reach out to the information below. Get out there and check out what's going on. If you're a writer, you got that kind of talent, check out what they're going to be doing to help support your writing needs. Also, our high school test prep class is still open to all 7th and 8th graders. They are preparing our young people for the high school PT exam test. The class started in October, but they are still taking people. If you have a young person that is in the 7th or 8th grade and you want them to get ready for a good high school, this test, they are setting our young folks up, getting them ready so that they can pass the test and get into those nice high schools. Also, the MPX monkeypox vaccination is still available every Thursday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30, 2:30 p.m. at 701 Alabama Street in San Francisco. If that is you, or if you know someone who needs to get that vaccination, please get up there every Thursday, free vaccination at 701 Alabama Street. Also, the Peace Park is still presenting their Friday night fun every Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Hamilton Rec Center, 1600 Gary Boulevard. It is a great space for young people to get out, okay? This is another violence prevention event. Young folks come here. They got barbers cutting hair. They got food. They got dance, music. If you would like to get your young people out of the streets and doing something, take them to the Peace Park Friday night at the Hamilton Rec Center. Also, the Saturday Family Fun Day is still happening every second and fourth Saturday. Okay, there's sporting events and much more that they're doing to help impact our community. Y'all know we're getting close to the winter recession. Our young people are going to be out, and our guy Nate Ford is so humbly making sure that our families get an opportunity to go out and still have some fun during this holiday season. So please, the information, the email is up there. If you want more information, reach out to the SF Rebels. Shout out to my guy Nate Ford for continuing to impact our community and making sure our young folks and family are still doing things in these challenging times that we are faced with. So shout out to the Rebels. Also, the San Francisco Smart Money Coaching is happening, right? A free confidential financial guidance for anyone living, working, or receiving benefits or services in San Francisco. All you got to do is call this number. Y'all know we about changing the paradigm when it comes to finance, okay? Money's getting tighter. Interest rates are going up. People are losing their jobs. Discretionary funds are getting tight. Please come see a financial coach. All you got to do is don't be embarrassed. Pick up the phone. They got some people there that can help you to budget, get out of debt, and start building financial wealth for you and your families. Please take advantage of this, okay? It's hard to get financial advisor. I always tell people when I went to go learn about finances, I had to pay big dollars, okay, to learn this stuff, okay? You got free folks that's going to teach you how to invest, get out of debt, save. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Community, call. I don't care if you got 20 credit cards. Call, okay, and let them help you get out of debt, okay? That's what it's all about, trying to pass generational wealth to our young people and to our next generation of family and folks. With that being said, our Both Sides of the Conversation Capacity Building Fundraiser is still up, all right? It's going through Giving Tuesday to the end of the year. If that is you out there that's walking around, you know, you might be a big baller, big shiler. Come on, spend some of them dollars and support an organization that's supporting the people. All right, we're trying to build capacity. We need a van. We need a location. We need a lot of things. And you're so gracious, and God has blessed you to just have all the money in the world. Please reach out to us. Go to our GoFundMe and support us there with that as well. Also, we are still in the search of volunteers. We are looking for talented folks, okay? If you like what's going on, y'all see us all over the place. You like, man, I like what they're doing. I want to get involved. Go check us out. Go to our website. Click to join our squad. Check out our volunteer opportunities. Nobody should say they can't get connected. We have some openings. Bring your talents and your skill set. I don't care what you do. Maybe you're a security guard. Maybe you're a janitor. I don't know. Maybe you just walk around and hold a flag. We can use you for something, okay? Everybody on here has a talent that we can use to give back to the community. If that is you, be so kind and reach out and say, hey, John, I want to connect with you. I want to help. I want to give back. We need some of those folks, all right? Check us out. tap in and come be a part of what we're doing to impact our Black and brown communities. It is very important, and the work that we're doing is very impactful. And if that is not you, and you're like, John, I'm not the big baller and shot caller, but I got a few dollars I can help y'all out with, go to Amazon Smile, okay? Click up Amazon Smile, choose both sides of the conversation as your charitable organization. No extra cost to you, community. Don't even worry. Just sign up both sides of the conversation. But every time you purchase something on Amazon, 0.5% of your purchase will be donated to help support both sides of the conversation. All right. And ladies, I'm only talking to the ladies for you, Tony. Ladies, I know y'all shopping on Amazon. Okay. I see the trucks. I drive down all these streets. All I see is Amazon trucks. Okay, and I know it's the ladies because every time I drive by, I see y'all sneaking outside, grabbing y'all packages real quick. Y'all looking over y'all shoulder, making sure your husband is nowhere around. Y'all sneaking in the house, hiding the packages. Okay, I won't say nothing. I promise you. If you just choose both sides of the conversation as your charitable organization, I promise I won't say nothing. I won't tell your husband. But if you don't choose us, when I see you sneaking, I'm gonna be like, ding dong. Hey, sir, did you know she just came outside and picked up a package? She's spending a lot of money out there. It's a lot of packages, okay?
You are so trifling.
Y'all can help support us by choosing us as one of y'all both sides of the conversation, charitable organization. And I want to say thank you to all the amazing women out there who's been supporting us and signing us up because they know they don't want me. They like, John Henry go tell. I better sign him because he go tell. But we thank y'all for supporting us.
And speaking of women, this is my chance. No, this is my chance. Ladies, community, Sunday, whatever you doing, tap in because the ladies is taking over both sides of the conversation. I just had to put it in there because he was coming for the ladies already. And Sunday is going down on this platform. So ladies, call your sisters, call your aunties, call your mamas, call your grandmas, because the ladies is taking over. That's all I needed to say.
Oh my goodness. So for all y'all just watching, probably like, they are nuts, okay? Go follow us on all of our social media handles, both sides of the conversation. With that being said, okay, this Thursday, our next show that is live, okay, at 6 o'clock, we will have an educational Thursday. We'll be having Cynthia and Sean coming back to do a financial literacy presentation as we promised to the community. All year, we will continue to bring financial information and wellness to our community. They're going to come on and do a presentation to impact community. And then this Sunday, y'all
ladies,
oh my goodness, ladies,
right here.
Hey, calm down.
At 4 p.m.
Tony,
we taking over. We taking over, ladies.
Tony, you heard the brothers. We need silence, okay? Tony, silence. Silence, Tony. Okay?
That doesn't matter. And you know what? I seen Tim this weekend. I met Tim this weekend. I seen him this weekend, and I told him we coming for y'all.
All right. So
okay.
All y'all that don't know what's going on, okay? 2 Sundays ago, we had a conversation. The ladies of the community asked all the brothers, what do y'all want? Okay, they asked the brothers. So if y'all missed that show, go back and look. All the brothers came on here and we told the women of the community what we want. Okay, it was so hostile. We had to give a week break, let our youth come do the youth conversation, the gun violence show. Now this Sunday, we are giving it to the ladies. Fellas, the ladies are going to come on here and tell us what they want from the brothers of the community.
It's going down tonight. Tonight we're going down.
Fellas, don't leave me alone, okay? I'm going to be the only fella in the studio with them. Y'all got to back me up. I need all the brothers. Support me, okay? Because they're going to come for me. But I'm ready. The single women, they're going to be talking, and I'm just going to let them know what it is, okay? We're going to stop all of that delusion, all that fantasy stuff. We're going to stop it, Tony. I'm coming with a stop to it, okay? So I just want to say this. Ladies, this Sunday is y'all opportunity to tell the brothers of the community what y'all want. We know the list is going to be like this, Tony. I mean, it's going to be like a Christmas list, fellas. They going to want everything. They going to want a brother that can fly a rocket. You know, they going to want a brother with $20 million. It's going to be a long Christmas list, fellas. We're going to be on there all day, okay? All day. Listening to what ladies want, okay? But this is their Sunday. This is their show. And then after that, we're going to bring the fellas and the sisters together to have a real relationship conversation about how do we bring Black love back to our community. And it's going to be a mess, okay? I can just tell y'all now. The bishop is ready. It's going to be a mess, but we all in for the messes, okay? But again, our sisters is coming on Fellas, respect the queens. We're not going to do what they did to us and bash us and tear us up in the chat. We're just going to be nice and polite. But that long Christmas list, you know, that super guy that they want, that Mr. Perfect, the guy that's on their VR virtual screen that they see, like, yeah, we don't just tell them they not there, okay? We're just gonna tell them they out there in another planet, okay? But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead, y'all. I know y'all tired of me. Y'all like, please get John off the screen. He said enough. Y'all know the bishop is back, okay? And I got a lot of energy. I slept a lot. I thought a lot. And you know, I'm gonna be quiet now. Okay, we're gonna bring up our hidden gems tonight, Tony.
Which is a lady, a black girl magic, a queen. Okay, she speaks several languages, got a bomb resume, bio, ladies.
We're gonna bring up this phenomenal sister, fellas. Okay, she is very powerful, very phenomenal, very diverse. Now, this is one of the ladies that's on the show. Her list could be that long, fellas. Okay, she's very powerful. Okay, so look, I knew I was gonna get.
I'm gonna save it for Sunday. I'm not gonna let you take my joy.
All right, community. With that being said, no further ado, we're gonna bring up this queen tonight. Very, very powerful sister, doing some amazing stuff to impact community. Very talented. So with that being said, Miss Tara, come up to the screen. Holla at the people out there. Tell them what's going on with you, queen.
Hi, thank you, John. Thank you, Tony. And I'm gonna be on that show. I'm gonna have to come through and support because my list is not long at all. I'm very easy to please if you act right. So my name is Tara. Basically, I was born in Richmond, moved to Oakland. So grew up in Oakland, went to school here, went to a lot of different schools. I'm gonna go a little bit in that later on. Raised mostly in Oakland. And yeah, so I just, growing up, I had such a violence impacted life as a youth. And so I never was really got to experience like everyday high school experience like everybody else. So I was a very smart youth, but I was very high risk for reasons of not having the resources, not getting the right mental health support after, you've been impacted by violence and things that's going on in the community. So when you live in underrepresented, underserved communities, you kind of you're just trying to survive at times, you're intelligent, you're smart, but there's no one there to show you that you're capable, or there's no representation there. No one that looks like you. Like, I love math, and when I was growing up, we had to take the high school exit exam. I don't know if the new generation has to take that, but we did. And I remember I passed the math one twice. I got the highest in my school, and then the second time I didn't know if I passed it, and it was time to graduate. So my teacher was like, "I'm going to suggest you just take it again, Tara." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Just in case, because if you graduate, if you can't walk the stage, if you don't pass this high school exit exam." And so it turned out that I actually passed it the second time, and I was both times the highest. I tested the highest in the math section at my school. And so as I was growing up, I just never was motivated with school. I know I could achieve a lot. Like, I learned how to read around 3 years old. And it just wasn't for me. And so when I got moved to Oakland and I started to kind of change my life around, I went to junior college, where I got several associate degrees, and one was mathematics. And I just met a Black woman who was my math instructor. And like one day she was like, "Tara, do you want to be my math tutor?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love that." And so ever since then, I've been a pioneer in opening doors for women in math, and Black women specifically. I am currently a student at the University of California, Berkeley, where I'm studying mathematics and American studies. I really think that more women in math, specifically Black women or BIPOC folks in math, Black women, is needed. I'll go into these classes, and it'll be classes with like 500 students, and it'll be like me as the only Black woman. And so it's always so different, a different experience for me. And while I was in junior college, before I got to Cal, I basically went to China. This is where, when I got into studying math, and I met my instructor, and she invited me to come be her math tutor. I definitely started to change my whole life trajectory. Like math was my healing tool. And I discovered it could be a healing pedagogy because a lot of times for Black and Brown folks, it's a barrier. And so my goal in life is to like break those barriers down using, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics as tools to transform these youth that's been impacted by violence to have alternative methods and resources and access to these higher institutions. And that's kind of like my goal. So I studied in China and I studied at Fudan University in Shanghai, and also speak Mandarin Chinese. And I studied there. It's actually the third top university in China. And so I remember this time I was on the Great Wall of China. I was like walking through, and like everybody were just not seeing a lot of Black people. So it was like me and my cohort of people that was come from my junior college, but we were like exceptional. Everyone was like high scholars, high achieving, straight A's, like running for student body council. Like these are like, everyone know us in the school because we're like the top of the top. And so, it was weird. And we stopped the whole Great Wall of China for people to touch our hair. And it was just such a fun experience. And people would ask me like, so with so much like joy in their face, and they're like, can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, okay. And they're like, Obama? And I'm like, I don't really know Obama, but it was just like really fun. And I remember we would stop the whole Great Wall of China, like everybody would stop and just look at us, and they'll ask us questions like, where are you from? And I'm like, well, sure, Gorin, like I'm an American. And they're like, no, not African. And I'm like, yeah, my ancestors from there, but I was, born in America. So, so it was so many great experiences and so much access now that I am studying mathematics or STEM. And so one of the recent things that I did was about 2 summers ago, I started a small program. It was called Math is All Good in the Hood, and it targeted Black and Brown youth in the Bay Area, specifically in Oakland, because that's where I was. But it also was some youth that came from San Francisco. We did like Zoom meetings. We talked about math, and at the end of it, my program awarded them with Amazon gift cards. And it just was such a great experience for me just working with youth. I have worked in education and with youth for the past 10 years in manager positions and teaching and mentoring and tutoring and operations management, where I'm running like large summer camps as the camp director. And it just really put so much joy in my heart. And like, our community is ravished with violence, and a lot of specifically gun violence. And growing up, I lost family members that I love dearly, like my father, my brother, my grandma, to like gun violence. And so I knew I had to do something. I knew that after I lost my brother, like my best friend in Oakland, California, to gun violence, I knew that I had to make a difference. I have to make a change, even if it's just one person at a time. So I just have to do what I can do for the community. I can't change the whole world, but it really does make a difference when you have that representation. So I want to talk a little bit more about like my nonprofit and give people time to kind of chime in, like if you want to ask any questions or anything.
Well, while you pulling up your presentation, I gotta ask you, because you changing the narrative. You are a Black woman and you let people touch your hair? I'm surprised. Okay, Black woman let people touch your hair.
I was trying to be nice because, like, like I'm out there experiencing their culture, and I don't want to be rude, but at the same time, I did get a little exhausted. Like, am I at the zoo? Am I the main attraction? But I just gotta understand that some people live in rural areas in China, and they're just not used to seeing like, color folks or Black women or Black people or BIPOC folks. So we were very exotic to them at the time. And it was a really good experiences too. I did have to be like, oh, please, no, and then it was like, oh, because Obama. And it's like, no, I just don't want you to touch my hair.
I'm just amazed, just to be from the Bay Area, going to Cal, living in China, speaking Chinese. I know that just tripped people out. I mean, this is some powerful stuff there. We talk about changing the narrative community. There you go. Black girl magic is happening. This is great, but we'll get to our slides and then we'll have some questions for you.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just going to go through my slides a little bit. This is a little bit background by myself.
It's not up yet, but just I'll let you know when it's up.
Okay. Let me know.
So I see it. I haven't seen your presentation yet, but I see it up. All right, there we go. Now you got it
Okay.
again. There you go.
Yeah. So this is STEAM against violence. So STEM's to kind of, it stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. It's really important for us to add art because art is it's a good way to articulate yourself. It's a good way to heal. It's a good way to kind of surround yourself with youth that's been impacted by violence and kind of being able to express through different modes of media and art and expression. Not just STEAM, but art is also very important. So that's why we include it. This is an event that we threw. We invited still students from the neighborhood. It was a free event. We did a lot of different workshops. And this specifically, we were working on how oil and water don't mix and the chemistry behind that. This is here. I'm kind of just talking about, it's a little bit of my story. The objective of the organization. Like I mentioned before, I grew up in Richmond and Oakland. As you can see here, like I talked about, just exposed to a lot of countless acts of violence from my own family member, and talked about meeting my mentor and how she helped me change my life, my own life trajectory. And yeah, this what my whole nonprofit encompasses, what I do. It's not just important for me, it's important for me to just to save lives. I think what I do, it can seem so small, but overall it's creating a future for youth that don't have the opportunities and the access to people that, like myself, go to the number one public institution in this country, you know. So being able to connect with those different resources is really important. As you can see here, there's 3 Black women, me all the way to the right, and to the left is my math instructor. In the middle is her mom. She just recently passed away. Her name was Ernestine Camp. She was actually one of the first Black women
We don't
to.
see that picture. We don't. There she go. There you go.
Yeah, okay, there she go. And she was actually one of the first Black women in during the time where it was largely segregated, to go to be accepted to a large university for her master's in mathematics. And she told me her daughter is my mentor. Her name is Tracy Camp, and she's on the far left. And she kind of actually told me her story, and I'll be sharing a link with everybody here later on, like how you can access that, how you can read her story, and it talks a little bit more about what she went through during times of segregation, and being like one of the first Black women math instructors at Laney Community College. My mentor is currently a math instructor at Laney Community College, where she taught for 20 years, and her mom was a math professor there before she was. So this is a little bit about one of the first programs I started. This is called Math is All Good in the Hood. And this program helps 1st to 12th graders better understand math concepts, practice proof techniques, and just have a space to talk about math. And it was a really fun event. It was virtual. This one is usually ran virtually. We hope to throw more events that's actually connecting with the youth. So we recently threw this 2-hour one-time workshop, and we help high school students develop professionally. And our goal is to help them get summer jobs, get internships, be able to connect with people, learn to interview, learn to create a resume. So many different things that I wasn't taught when I was growing up, because I lost my father at a very young age from gun violence, and he was such a good man. So these resources are important to work with our youth and prepare them for how to go into the world and be a professional, how to put together a resume. You don't really learn these things in school. Are also my nonprofit, it encompasses a healing aspect to it. And so it's really important to connect with others. And I found moving forward and working with people in the community, we actually work with a lot of clinics that works around mental health support. And so we're going to have some events coming up and we're going to share those. And this healing journal workshop is we pass out free journals to youth that would like to be a part of the program. And it's a 1 hour weekly workshop. And we kind of just go over, they can share if they want to. We encourage folks to just find a way to give back and to move forward in grief and trauma. I think very much so, historically, African Americans and people of color in this country has been impacted by so much violence and trauma, that is so hard for us to move forward. And I know growing up for myself, it was so much stigma in around mental health support and what do that look like and how do I access that, and I can't afford that, and some older people in my community, I know my grandma used to say, oh no, you just need to go to church, so that's a big part of our program, is kind of finding ways to heal outside of the the traditional inside the go into a clinic, or you go into somewhere where you're kind of meeting with your therapist, you're kind of stepping outside. So we're kind of taking it outside and mixing it with science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, and trying to find ways to heal the community kind of together. We have Women X in STEM, very gender expansive, non-binary, trans inclusive to all women identifying folks. And this is for youth grades 7 to 12. We usually watch good movies. One of my favorite movies is Hidden Figures. We actually did this before. It was a good movie. It was a panel of BIPOC folks in STEM, in the STEM field. And one big thing about myself that I want to share is, like, when I was in junior college, I actually got an internship with NASA. And so that was a big part of it. We got to utilize linear algebra to kind of duplicate the rover that's on Mars right now. So it was a really great experience. And just watching that movie, I actually just watched a movie the other night. Just watching that movie, it always inspires me, and it reminds me of my mentor's mom and how she's like, I got to meet her, and it was a modern day Black woman fighting through segregation, and how she still came on top, and was to this day have written math books for UC Berkeley and on analytical geometry. So that's really important to me. STEM Against Violence all day workshop. And it's kind of a way to check in with all the programs and how it connect with all the different youth that's been impacted by violence, that's been a part of these different programs, kind of coming together and creating, a community and giving each other a healing space, and just exercising, like, loving each other as Black folks, as BIPOC folks, and just having that experience to be around other folks that's in STEM. I know it's very alienating for me and ostracizing sometimes going to classes. Crippling imposter syndrome. Like, sometimes I don't feel like I belong in those spaces because no one looks like me. And I'm sometimes one of the only Black women. Like, one of my classes was a math teaching class that I'm taking this semester. And one of my classmates, she's also a Black student in the graduate program. And I was just so happy just walking in class and seeing her. And I'm like, a sister, you got excited, so that's always a great experience. But sometimes I get in these other classes and it's like no other Black women, and I'm just so lonely, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, and I'm just trying to create this community. But like, sometimes we don't understand, like, we have these implicit biases, and we kind of just click together with people that we've known for our whole life and been in close proximity, so so that's a little bit about my program and what I have going on. I'm gonna stop share.
Very powerful stuff. That's all I want to start off to say. I mean, that's just dope, to just see a sister from the community doing something and creating this ecosystem. I think is just very powerful. And to our young people, we got some young folks that's part of this organization that's off in college, and that's the type of vulnerability that we need in our community, for folks to stand up and say, this is cool, right? When we talk about changing the narrative, we have to see people who look like us doing this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I just commend you because again, when you start climbing that ladder, it is going to be less and less of us. But then we have the young folks who are looking up to us, and as long as they see us in these spaces doing this type of stuff with math and just being able to maneuver, it's just very powerful stuff. So just kudos to you and then your organization, taking that math aspect into what we deal with in our community. We talk about violence. And again, I always say some young folks out there, when it comes to numbers, they good. Okay. We in the hood, they always counting, right? They just need to enhance it. So, seeing you bringing that energy and bring that type of programming to our community is very much needed. When we talk about mental health, the trauma. I think that component as well, tying that in to what's going on in our community is just things that we need to continue to do. There is so much trauma, there is so much violence in our community, and having these alternatives for our young people to get out, do something. Our young females to get into STEM, we definitely need that increase of women in STEM, especially in the science and the robotics. But I wanted to ask you about it, but you already said it. Hidden Figures, gotta say, you working them numbers. Who you taking to outer space? Okay, you look like you're gonna take somebody out of space. I don't know. I'm gonna hold that for Sunday when you come back home. We don't want you sending no brother off to another planet. Okay. Pretty Tony, go ahead. You got the question.
Amazing story. I just want to say I'm proud of you and congratulations and thank you for what you're doing for yourself and our community. Like John said, like we definitely need people and like you said, we need people that look like you, doing the things that we want to hope to do. Just maybe even hoping or dreaming to do. And where does that strength come from? And I want to say sorry about you losing your father at a young age, but where do you get the strength to be in rooms like that? Because sometimes, you could feel intimidated, or you could just give up. But what keeps you going?
I feel like for me, it's definitely, I have, like I said, my mentor, I met her when I was around 23 years old. I didn't have a traditional, I actually started a company right out of high school. So I started a company with some friends as a startup. It didn't work out well. I went to management, didn't work out. And then when I met her, I was already good at math, but I didn't believe in myself. And I didn't never seen anyone that looked like me. It was always, my professors was always white males or white women. And one time I did have a Hispanic high school teacher. Her name was Miss Ojeda. And she did encourage me to work hard and come in on Saturday classes and pass the high school exit exams. And this was at a time, if you didn't pass your high school exam, you couldn't graduate high school. To this day, they abolished that. And to this day, there's so many Black men or Black women or people of color, BIPOC folks that was impacted by that, wasn't able to get their high school diploma. And so for me, meeting her and just having the courage and just always thinking about her mom was alive during segregation. She said that her graduate program was so racist that when it was time to walk the stage, she had to mail them to her. So we were at a time where this country was forced to accept her mother as a hidden figure because we were racing against Russia. And they were like, at the point, America was like, we need all the smart people we can get. So she was led into the top, Louisiana Tech. So when I heard about her story and I read her story and I think about my mentor and how she's been a math instructor and just, I'm not going to lie, the access that I have, like the doors, the people I meet, yeah, it is sometimes alienating, but sometimes people see me and they're like, oh my gosh, a Black woman, she's studying math. So I have so much more access that I've ever had growing up and still being a student. It's like, yeah, I'm not at my 6-figure position and I'm kind of starting a profit and everyone's like, there's no money in that. But my heart is really motivated by supporting youth and making sure that I'm trying to do what I can to abolish the perpetual violence and break that generational curse of losing the men in my family to gun violence or to violence at all, and that's where we talk about mental health and getting support in your house and what did that look like. Sometimes I talk to my friends and it was domestic violence for them or sexual violence or anything like that. And I really want my nonprofit to be something for youth to have some sort of safe haven and utilize them, and not just as something that can take them to a different level, but a healing tool, a healing pedagogy.
Well, let me say something. The math these days is completely different than when we went to school. Like, I have a, what grade are they in? I have a second grader and I have a fourth grader. And they be bringing this math homework home, and I be feeling like I gotta go to YouTube to like try to see, and I had to like sit with the teacher and stuff because I'm like, I didn't learn math like this, and it's intimidating for me, and I'm an adult, and college graduate and everything, and I'm like, I don't know how to help you right now. So what advice can you give, parents and even students that look like us, like, what kind of advice can you give us to not give up on math, because math is hard. It's getting more and more difficult, and as you know, if you miss that one little step when doing math, your whole problem is messed up. And on top of that, I think math is the big problem in our community of why we spend so much money, why we calculate things differently, why we're always behind, why we can't budget. All those things are a factor of math. I know that was a lot, but I had to get it out.
I think that's the problem with relationships too, Tony.
That's for Sunday. You play too much.
So I did want to acknowledge that it is this big gap in like math curriculum, and that's what I'm also focused on being a pioneer, and is changing the curriculum of math and how it's created and what it looks like and who sits at the table and makes these decisions. Because a lot of the times the people that's making the decision on what math looks like and who's creating those curriculum don't look like us. They don't reflect us. And so that's another thing that I'm trying to bring into my nonprofit, is to work with parents, to work with their youth, to make sure that they're getting the help around their homework. And we do have a program and workshop coming out soon. And another part of that advice will also be, like, you're doing the right things. You're talking to their teacher. You're kind of looking at their homework to see what it is. But math curriculum is actually far behind in America. As Americans, we're on a different measuring system, and we could go to a different country right now. And if I wasn't a math major, I wouldn't know, the different measurements and how to converge, and it's totally different. Like, as Americans, we're behind in mathematics, and as Black folks, we're behind further than those other people because we don't have access to those resources. And even myself, recently, I went into a teaching position where I was helping a teacher, and they changed the mathematic curriculum. So what you have to do is, every mathematic curriculum is followed by the same structure. It's under, you kind of have to like just Google what grade your student is and look at that curriculum, because they have to follow that curriculum. So I can go somewhere and I can give them the right answer, but because I didn't do it the way they want me to, then it's not going to be accepted as the correct answer. So that's a big problem with the mathematical curriculum right now. So I'm teaching, learning how to teach math, learning how to solve mathematical equations and complex equations is only a part of that for me. But a big part of it is making sure people like us sit at that table and make those decisions of what this high school curriculum is going to entail. How is this? One big thing that they tried to do recently was to kind of get rid of just basic algebra and focus on discrete algebra or computer science math. And it's like, will that make sure that our high school students, our K through 12 students are getting their needs met mathematically? Are they meeting curriculum? Are they learning it right? Just because that's a good way to teach your student, that don't mean that's a good way to teach my student or my child or the youth that I work with. And it's really important that we sit at the table and we help make these decisions. And so, like, math education is important for me.
Well, as you know, in Oakland, we've been in a pandemic way before a pandemic in math and reading, right? Especially Black and brown families. And now with us losing a couple of years, in the pandemic, and just the way the whole school system was set up for failure for us, because we didn't have tutors, we couldn't afford that, and single moms, and not even single moms, just parents, period, became the teacher for those 2 years. What advice could you give like our community right now on trying to like get ahead? Because another thing is that like you have these students that's graduating from high school and everything, and they're making like good grades and all of that, and then they go to a community college like Laney or Alameda or something, and then they're failing out the first semester because here it is, you thought you was a straight A student, But then that first semester of college, you get to that math or to that whatever that subject, mostly math and reading, and then they failing out. So how can we? What advice could you give us? To try to like get ahead of the game.
First, I want to say thank you for that question. That's really important. And I think first, let's acknowledge community college and let's continue to promote that because that saved me 2 years in debt. And when we're talking about financial literacy, that is something we should talk about with our youth. It's like, hey, it's okay to do 2 years in junior college because you kind of get to mess up a little bit. And there's so many resources that people don't know about. Like really look into the resources. Like I know a lot of Black parents and Black and brown folks don't want to look into if their student may have a learning disability or may be neurodivergent, that maybe they suffer from ADHD and they're actually very intelligent, but they can't sit in one place. Get them tested for that. Like it doesn't hurt to go and get them tested. Like if they had that don't mean that there's something wrong with them. That means they're getting the resources that they need so that they can be able to focus, so that they can get their needs met and meet the requirements that they need. Another thing is to speak out. If you see your child or youth you work with falling behind, reach out to the teacher, ask them for resources. My program is a good nonprofit for that, for math. I know there's eSTEM. I know there's a lot of other, there's resources out there and mentors and tutors, and it's free stuff in the community. You just got to do a Google search.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, sis, but I don't agree with you because it ain't a lot of mentors right now. It's not a lot of free programs no more. Like that, we don't know where that stuff is, and that's why I'm bringing it to the community because I get parents. I work with parents. I have 42 parents on my list that I work with, and they always asking me like, I need a mentor for my son. My kid is behind because of the pandemic, and they was already behind. And do I hold them back? Or yes, I will get them tested, but I don't always believe that like it is something wrong with the kid. It's just that they just didn't get what they needed in the classroom. Because as we know, if you have a black little boy in the classroom and he's not behaving or he's not attentive, what they gonna do with him? They're gonna put him in the back of the classroom. They're gonna give him some snacks, and he's falling behind and he's missing things. And then you got the teacher. No offense to the teachers, but then you got the teacher that don't even know how to deal with us. If they don't look like us, and then they got 25 other students in the classroom, and so they can't be attentive to, that one little kid or whatever. And it's not that they have problems, it's just that they're behind. So I do agree with you, but I don't agree with you because I see it up front.
Thank you for bringing that out and pointing that out. Like that is really important. And I think that public school systems are in a way they are failing us, so it was actually not too long ago, this whole movement where Black mothers were going around and they were pulling their kids out of school and they were homeschooling them, so that is a thing. I will say there's so many great teachers, there's so many great educators out there, and sometimes they don't even have the resources they need to be successful in that classroom because they don't have the resources. As far as mothers that's reaching out, I'll say definitely reach out to my program. I'm going to be connecting with both sides of the conversation. I love to work with y'all. I love to connect y'all with mentors, with tutors. I'm actually a tutor myself. I'm actually a mentor myself, so there is resource out there, and if you can't find those resources, there's people like me that could be liaisons, and I'm going to actually create a large document where it's going to compile so many different resources. And sometimes reaching out to the community, and sometimes it's just who and that's very unfortunate. And
that is so true, and I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that because that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, sometimes it's and I acknowledge that right now I have access to UC Berkeley, which is one of the number one public research institutions in this country, so when I was growing up, I didn't have the same access, and my school was behind, and we didn't even learn advanced AP calculus. It wasn't even offered, so that's another thing I do is I grab tutors and I grab teachers that's at the number one public institution in this country, and I ask them, hey, do you want to tutor with me? Do you want to tutor for my program? And they provide students, and actually have an AP calculus workshop coming up. And I can, and I actually have another resource coming up where I'm forming pods with tutors, and we're going to be their mentors, and we're going to be their
And see, that's what we need, because all the kids on top of the hill in Oakland, they had that during the pandemic.
Yes, they do.
And we didn't have that. We didn't have that. You know, we was just left behind. We've been left behind, and we was really left behind. So I ain't trying to come at you, but it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because I know what these parents is going through, and I know what they need, and like you said, they don't have the access. So I'm so happy that you came on the show tonight, and I'm so glad that you're willing to offer yourself, your services, and we're definitely going to be connected, and I'm going to be sending some people towards you too. So get ready, sis.
I just want to say one thing before we let you go. You just earned about 5 points with me tonight. You just see, I this is powerful, because one thing I caught what you said earlier, because I always listen, right? You talked about nonprofit work, having, that heart and compassion and humility to give back to the community. This nonprofit where I tell people it ain't no real money, right? The real payment is the people that you impact. So I just want to give you kudos for that, because again, these nonprofit people think there's no money in this. The real money is the blessing of the people, the impact of the people. And that's why we do this work. So I took that from you. The other thing that I just wanted to highlight, you talked about mentorship. And I always say this on my platform. I tell community, mentorship is so important. Giving people a second chance is so important. The elders of the community, okay, this is what it looked like. I always tell the elders in the community, pass the torch to the next generation. That elder that you work with, your mentor, she passed the torch to you. Look at you run with the torch now. This is why I tell the elders, give up the power to our young people. Invest in our young people. Don't wait until you die away with all the information and you go to the grave. Share that information so that you can have another young, bright terror in the community that's going to impact some more young people. You get what I'm saying? And then the third thing that I said, this girl is something else. You said, we're going to work together. This is the struggle that I've been trying to get our community organizations. How do we work together? How do we work in solidarity? How do we uplift each other? So you got the winning jackpot ticket tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, this is what I like to hear. When we talk about changing the narrative, that's what it's all about. How do we work together? We're impacting, you're impacting. How do we bring this to a whole? See, all the other communities get it. The Latin community is doing it. The Asian community is doing it. You know what we doing? We fighting each other. I don't want to work with you. I'm doing my own thing. I'm trying to get recognition. It's like, it's crazy. We got to work together. We got to bring this information and resources to our community. That's why what we do is so important. So that it's mothers like Tony that's not asking, where do I go? All we got to do is tap into both sides of the conversation. They're going to have a connection for us. You get what I'm saying? This is how it starts. And then lastly, Black teachers, Black educators, Black people, listen to me. We got to stop complaining about the school districts and how they failing us. We know intentionally they are setting our young people up to go to prison. How do we find a way to increase the salaries of our Black teachers? How do we empower our Black teachers and bring them to our community? And then when we bring our Black teachers to the community, how do we treat them with love and honor and respect and make sure that they stay working with our young people? It is proven facts. I've been on calls. I've been on the board of school supervisors, board of school education. The success of Black children when it comes to education is 5-1 when they have a Black educator. There's a connection that needs to happen. Black kids need to see Black faces in Black spaces. And again, it starts with people like you. But what about the next people that are out there? And this is what I tell people. That's why I tell these folks, I'm tired of hearing about your degrees. I'm tired of hearing about how smart you is, how much money you make. How are you impacting our community? As you climb the corporate ladder, what are you doing to give back to help our community? As you climb the educational ladder and go get smarter and smarter and send people to Jupiter, what are you doing to give people back in our community something? That's the real conversation that Black America need to have. If we're going to change this educational paradigm, if we're going to increase the educational rate, it's going to take Black people to impact our communities. All right. So this sister here community tonight, this is a phenomenal sister. This is why she is here. This is why we're giving her flowers on our Hidden Gem segment. We're not going to wait to sisters like this is laying in the casket and say, oh, all these great things she did. We want the community to know now how to connect with you now. For the folks in Richmond, Oakland, you should be proud. You have a representative who look like you, been through some things, can understand your language, and is taking people on a journey that they've never been. Through math, she is also using math to heal the violence in our community. She is using math to propel the young people in STEM. Powerful stuff, community. This is why she's a hidden gem tonight. Tara, don't mean to cut you off and rush you tonight, okay? But we got to get going. We got another powerful gem that's been waiting patiently. But again, we're going to connect. I'll make sure my team reach out to you. Let's find out how we can work together. Tony, let's connect. Let's make sure that we get her information, and let's connect and figure out how we can help you, how we can support you, not only in Oakland, San Francisco, around this Bay Area, right? This is what we need. Leaders of the community coming together, figuring out how do we work together. Every organization got different things to offer. How do we put it all together and support and uplift each other? Queen, I am proud of you. Talk to me in Chinese on Sunday because I want to hear all this. But if you make it back, we'll see you on Sunday. But
thank you again. Thank you again for doing this hard work and this meaningful work to our community. Thank you so much,
exactly.
Queen.
And before you leave, this is your time to shout out any people you want to shout out. Tonight, you are no longer a hidden gem. There's some people in our community that's going to check you out. They're going to the STEM Against Violence. They're going to be following you, okay? That's what we do. But before we let you go, any parting words you want to give to the community, any shout outs to any of the amazing folks who helped you, this is your time to do it.
Thank you for that. I just want to first start off by shouting both sides of the conversation for bringing me here tonight. This is, they highlight us hidden gems. They are gems too. My mentor, Tracy Camp from Laney Community College, and one of my best friends, his name is Jared Wright. He started his own bank. I would love for him to be on this show because, I know he can bring back to the community. Thank you.
Man, definitely please nominate somebody. Go to our website, community. This is our opportunity. This is how we bring those resources and information. I would love for you to sign him up as a hidden gem so that we could get him on, because this is how it works, right? We start putting these people on here. Our community start finding out. Now we can bank black, right? So this is opportunity. So again, this is what networking looks like, community. This is what it looks like bringing the resources to the people. This is the impact. And again, thank you for being here. Looking forward to you. Now, if you come on this Sunday, okay, this Sunday show is going to be a little different than the Hidden Gem show. All of us single brothers, okay, all my single brothers.
Don't be threatening her or nothing. Don't worry about her. Don't worry about him, okay?
We going to give y'all a hard time this Sunday.
Listen, don't worry about him. We see you on Sunday, sis, okay? We'll see you on Sunday.
Seriously, thank you. And if you do come back Sunday, we'll be honored to have you on again. Powerful stuff, community. This is what this Hidden Gem segment is all about. Making sure y'all know who these powerful black folks that are, because people say black folks ain't doing nothing. Where the black folks at? Here go another powerful queen in our community that's making impact, y'all. So with that being said, follower, thank you, Tara. We'll see you this Sunday. Have a blessed evening. Hang in there if you can. If you got to go, fine, but hang in there so we can connect with you, get your contact information, and make sure that we connect with you and see what we can do to help impact our community. But thank you for being on tonight. Thank you, community. Another hidden gem. Powerful stuff. I don't know what y'all talking about. We be doing some powerful stuff. Tony, these be some amazing days in gym. With that being said, to all the sisters that's getting ready to come on this Sunday and talk about what they want and where the brothers at, we got a powerful brother. Another hidden gem. He finna come up. Philip, The Rock, Lester. Good brother. You here. What's going on with you, King?
Oh, man, I'm chilling, man. Just relishing off all the information I've now heard from Tara that was speaking. Sounds a lot like me, and really kind of like I'm wondering, like, what am I going to say? When it comes to mathematics, I haven't really heard most folks speaking or using mathematics as a mechanism to kind of like communicate some type of like healing to our folks, help folks kind of like develop and become better people in our understanding. And it's ironic because I was just had a healing retreat, and it was up near San Francisco. I'm from South Central LA, so we came up to the mountains back in that area, and I was asked, like, one of the things that I use to communicate some of the teachings that I do to young folks. What is it that I use? and mathematics was that, because with our youth entrepreneurship program, we helping folks like learn how to make their own like clothing, get their own logos together, brand their own clothing line, and the way in which we talk is it's a mathematical language, So when they're kind of like making letters, out of vinyl, and they got to cut this stuff, it's always around measurements, it's always around size, and when they respond, it's always like in a number. So that's how we kind of like speak. We speak in like percentages. In the event that somebody have a shirt, and let's say the shirt hasn't sold in like 2 weeks, and you want to kind of like reduce the amount on the shirt, and say you reduce it by 10%, where you won't take a loss, you can still make some type of profit, but you can kind of like move the shirt faster with, it's selling like almost a clearance situation. And I asked them to calculate those numbers. The reason why I asked them to do that, because when people walk up, they're going to be asking the same thing, like, what the hell does 10% mean? That should be something they know, but it's something that you definitely have to know. If you're the person that's marketing, the shirt and the show product, right? So, math is always essential. And just listening to that, it was like wow. Because I remember going to college and taking up mathematics as well, even though I was going for my degree in social sciences, but I always had an inclination towards math. So I always found myself taking way too many math classes from what the counselors used to tell me, and to the point to where it came at I qualified for having a degree in social sciences, but also with emphasis in mathematics. But the same thing, like the sister kind of like mentioned, the higher the level of mathematics, the less black folks I've seen. It was real deal. Like, after that, like, trigonometry, yeah, some was there. We got past trig and went into calculus and pre-calculus. You start to see the numbers fall off. By the time I was like somewhere in calculus 2, there was none. Going to the physics classes is just as brutal as mathematics. Physics might be worse, what I'm saying, as a form of mathematics. There was none, they used to be just like, oh, I didn't take it away, because I think that was something that was kind of like said, like mathematics has been like the Achilles heel of the nation. And so for me, it's like I had a teacher one time, and I was taking computer science, and he was telling me that, let's say if he was looking to hire somebody to kind of like work on computers, and somebody came in, they had a computer science degree, and they had somebody else who had a math degree. He said he would hire the person that had the math degree first. And I didn't understand like why. Like, this is what you're looking for, somebody computer science degree. He said, but if they have computer science knowledge, but they don't know how to solve problems, there's a problem. He said, so I would take a person who knows mathematics because they can solve problems. And kind of like dealing with computer engineering and stuff like that, it's all about problem solving, troubleshooting. So somebody who got a mathematic like orientation or way of thought of thinking, they're more apt to selling problems. So just listen to that. It just ran a lot of things by me, and I don't want to go far on the math, but that's paramount. And just hearing her say that was like the first time I didn't just like African American person, whether male or female, just come out and state that or articulate it the way she has, because that is absolutely true. But I there was a question that was made, or something that was stated, that I tried to work with my kids. I think it came from Tony Style. Work with my kids in mathematics, and it looked different. I remember my mom and them used to tell me that same thing. I used to bring my mathematics. I was like, what is this mathematics? It's some different mathematics. What I learned about mathematics is that 1 + 1 is always 2. You know what I mean? And like, you got ordered pairs. Sometimes we're not paying as much attention, and then we kind of like we kind of forget what it looks like. I done had people who kind of like graduate and get a B in mathematics, whether it's intermediate, algebra, etc. Following semester, couldn't kind of help. There's a difference between learning mathematics in order to pass, and it's a difference between learning mathematics in order to understand. A lot of times we don't understand. We know how to arrive at answers, but we don't actually understand like how we got there. And that becomes like the biggest problem. So it's easy for you to forget, because we learn it just long enough just to pass. Lastly, I'm gonna say with mathematics, I'm gonna get right into my things I got to. They are making mathematics a little bit more complicated, and I think the process in which they're making mathematics more complicated. Because in one of my math class, school, we had a math exam, and they was giving it to us on a computer. I'm like, hold up. It's already difficult to try to navigate the computer, what I'm saying, especially for those that might not be as computer literate. On top of that, you have to plug in, mathematical, problems and answers inside of the computer. Usually when you have a professor grading, the professor can see that you may have a negative answer when it could have been a positive answer. You may still get points because they realize that something went wrong in your calculating to where it came negative and not positive. But when it comes down to a computer, it's like true or false. You can do all the process right and just accidentally put the wrong number. It's automatically 100% wrong. And I've seen that affect a lot of people, kind of like grades. On top of the math being difficult, but having to deal with computers. So into me, and I had to put that down there again because you're dealing with another math person, and this is ironic. You don't have that. You know what I'm saying? From LA to the Bay, like we do have some people that's really like connecting the dots on the ground and realize that math is one of the missing components. So that's great. But again, I'm South Central LA. I do a lot of work like all over LA or South LA, which include Watts, Compton, Inglewood, etc., and kids from those areas. So I work with a nonprofit. The nonprofit is called the Reverence Project, to where we focus primarily on dealing with like survivors of crime, and that's dealing with trauma, whether it's direct trauma, indirect trauma, vicarious trauma, etc. And we try to connect folks that is on a healing journey to like healing modalities that is natural. So we introduce folks into like aromatherapy, massage therapy, art therapy, music therapy, etc. And that's one of our main like themes. But there's other departments, I'm saying, the nonprofit where we do work. So we do focus on like youth development as well. So even when we're dealing with our folks who are survivors of crime, we also realize we have young folks who are survivors of crime too. So we create a space and place for them to kind of like speak to their traumas. So we have a radio station to where these young folks get something that's called it's like teen trauma, to where they're on there and they're kind of like talking about how trauma has impacted them. That's our teen session. And we let things just kind of like like flow, and we want stuff to kind of like be natural. But sometimes we realize that a lot of folks don't get resources and stuff like that when they're into a traumatic experience. So part of our work also is advocacy. So we find ourselves like frequently in Sacramento advocating for more resources for survivors of crime, and also we rock with CSSJ, to where biggest crime survivor movement, I'm saying, in the nation. And we come to Sacramento annually with loads of people who are survivors to knock on those doors in the Capitol, to let folks kind of like know what trauma has done to them. Putting a face to these stories is kind of like key, and letting those people kind of like see that. Also policy advocacy stuff. So I'm one of the poster childs for SB 731, which we just now passed through the governor's office. What I'm saying. With time done, he actually signed the bill after we, went up to, Sacramento, got with the legislators. They passed the bill, they signed it. And now, we're in a position to help folks who had old convictions actually be able to seal their records so they won't be burdened by these burdens of having an old conviction. And we have folks that I'm working with that's like 45 years old, 50 years old, and they have a conviction when they was, 18 years old and still coming to kick them in their tail. And that was one of the things that folks never realized, that a lot of people took deals to get out of certain situations, or not to have to deal with certain situations, but they wasn't told when they took that deal, there's over 48,000 collateral consequences that they would have to kind of like face, as a result thereof. So in going forward, again, I'm on multiple fronts, just doing the work, realizing that, being on the ground, we also do intervention and prevention from prevention lens. And that's where, around our youth programs, but we was also discovering, it's kind of like, we had homies that was getting jobs, and they had 4 or 5 jobs in like, 4 months. And I'm wondering like, what the hell is going on? But the thing was, they had those jobs long enough to get one check before the background check came and they was fired. So that's what led us to kind of like figuring like, hey, we got to go and lift these barriers, because as we're downhill, trying to pull dudes out the swamp, kids out the water, we had to look uphill and realize like, who the hell is throwing them in and why is these situations happening? So this has been a part of the work, but definitely I've been fired up about doing something else as well, which is our youth entrepreneurship program. So, if you check out my bio, I'm also, a business owner, been a survivor of crime. So I'm super passionate about young folks. When I was 14, I was shot twice. My uncle was killed just right up in front of my grandmother's house. When I was 15, I was shot again. At 16, I found myself facing 42 years of life. So navigating and going through all those type of situations and overcoming those things and being a survivor, realizing kind of like, what I didn't have and what young folks, needed. And, growing up inside LA, it's a whole different beast, especially when it comes to, the gang orientation thing. Like, the game is rough. So what I did was create a youth entrepreneurship program because a lot of the programs where we provide young folks with at the end of the program, they get a certificate. And it's cool. They got the knowledge. It could have some impact on them. You know, we were sowing seeds. But you're talking about the immediate needs that folks have. You know, how was these programs really addressing those immediate needs? So when we looked at juvenile delinquency, what I was able to see is that a lot of these crimes was all around monetary gain. You had young folks out there committing crimes because they was, you know, in an attempt to kind of like gain, again, some type of, you know, monetary funds to do whatever. So with the youth entrepreneurship program, as I put that together, we was thinking about what can we do that help translate immediacy folks kind of like, you know, being able to climb up out of poverty. As we talk about poverty, how you fight that. So, you know, I came up with a thing where it's like opportunities. You know, when you don't have the success, the difference between success and failure is those opportunities. So what we wanted to do was create a program to where young folks had the opportunity to learn how to make their own shirts. The program is from 13 to 18. We have them get a DBA once they're done with the program. It's a 12-week program. So DBA is doing business as. They had a heat press, a printer, and a computer. We actually give them that at the end of the program because what they can do is they can learn how to graphic designs on the computer, print them out on the printer, and then go ahead and put them on the shirt on the heat press. They can also use that computer for dual purposes because they can also use it to kind of like do work at school or schoolwork. Also, you know, you have kids who are 16, 15, 16. At that age, from a single-headed household, you're actually expected to put in. Moms is like, you know, prioritizing on the young one. So it's kind of like, you know, we put some of our young folks in crunches. A lot of times they come to us and they're looking for jobs. And when we don't have those opportunities, they go around the corner, they go down the alley, they go into one of these parking lots in the project, and they instantly walk away with a gun in the sack. A kid that had the potential of doing good is now doing bad because we don't have those opportunities. And it's sad that, you know what I'm saying, it's easier to do wrong than it is to do right. So I just wanted to create a pathway to where folks didn't have that, you know, they wouldn't at that fork in the cross, that fork in the road to where I had to decide, you know what I'm saying, if I want to commit a crime or not. Now you have folks who are going to our entrepreneurship program, graduating from this program, make me want to tear up a lot of times, seeing young folks walking away, man, and they starting their own clothing line. They know how to make shirts, they know how to design shirts. They amped up about going out here to some of these community events and just being posted at their booth and letting folks know, like, I'm doing this. So it's redefining, you know what I'm saying, how we look at brown and black folks, you know what I'm saying, South Central LA, and just really let, you know, these kids kind of like shine at their best potential. So my main motto is this, and I'm gonna let this go after this, is that I don't go in there and try to compel these kids to do something. My thing is the one thing, I try to get them the opportunity, give them exposure. They're getting a chance to work on machines. It's like $30,000 machines. That's not happening nowhere inside LA. You know what I mean? So they're getting that opportunity, but I'm just showing them how to use this machine. I don't ever tell them what to produce. I want them to kind of like, you know, bring their best self to the table. Just how Jordan brought his best self to the table. Kobe brought his best self to the table. And we're seeing people like Steph Curry bring their best self to the table. I don't want to see Jordan again. I love seeing Curry and whoever else after them. I want them to bring them to the table. I just want to show them how to play the game. And that's basically what we kind of like doing down there with the entrepreneurship program that we have over here in Watts. It's called the the Ambassadors Youth Entrepreneurship Program. And that's a spinoff, again, from our nonprofit and also my shop, which is the Ambassador Shop of Watts. So that's the work that Rock doing down here, and also doing work with Tom Dunn, policy advocacy, because that's what's absolutely needed so we can really free our people who have been system impacted and trying to go forward with their lives.
Man, very powerful stuff. I know you're going to pull up your slides. I'm going to let you get it up.
Yeah, I don't know what the time looked like, so I was just trying to be respectful.
Brother, you got, brother,
let's go then. Listen.
You talking to the people, brother, whatever it takes. You got to talk to the people.
That's perfect. So listen, I'm gonna click it. Can you see it? You see the screen?
Yep, it's up there.
All right, cool. So I'm just gonna like run through it real fast. We talked a lot about some things.
You gotta start the slideshow presentation though, but yeah, it's up there.
There we go. Just to run through it real fast. This is like, you know, welcome to Watts. You see, that's the birthplace of the entrepreneurship program. Here, just let me see if I can get this. Historical train station in Watts. A lot of folks came to Watts through this train station right here. A lot of blacks came here, coming up to the south, etc. That was the place where they got off. It's modernized now, but that's what it looked like. Watts Towers. People come from all around the world to see those towers right there. The individual who made those towers, Simon Rodale. And one's the thing that he said when he was doing that, he didn't know what he was doing, was just doing it. And his thing was he wanted to do something great. He wound up collecting all different type of raw materials. We're talking about glass, pieces of tiles, etc., putting these things together. And at the end of the day, this is what he produced it. Here's a little close up of what it looks like. So that's just the makeup of the material that he kind of like used, and to construct this beautiful tower. And again, he said he want to do something great. Hearing that and seeing that, I kind of like thought about it too. Like I want to do something great, and what is that? So what it looks like right now is definitely Ambassador Shopper Watts and the Youth Entrepreneurship program, because there's nothing like that in the city that it's rocking. This is some of the kids from our program right here inside the Jordan Down Projects, just giving back to the community. We had a food giveaway and also a clothing giveaway. The reason why I inspire young folks to do this with all our programs is because I know how this stuff touched me when I started doing it. And I'm just hoping I can kind of like, give them that opportunity and it touched them the same way at a younger age to where they really want to kind of like be more invested in their community and doing something positive. This is our Gloves Over Guns program. It was sponsored by the Mayweather Fitness Team. That's me back there with a bunch of youth in the community. So we had young folks who was between the ages of 12 and 18, same group. And then we had another group between 10 and like 14. We was taken to Beverly Hills. There's one to Beverly Hills 3 times out the week. They get a 2-hour program, 1 hour in life skills training, which I provided that training. And the other hour they got trained directly by the Mayweather Fitness Team. And here goes some of the other little young kids that was just waiting around their time. They go play on the bag, etc. These kids had a remarkable time, but that was the theme. Gloves over guns. I had people all over the place like, man, I need one of those shirts. You see the kids walking through the community with those on. There go some of the kids right here that also graduated. So we had a lot of kids that was going through this program. This was right here posted just prior to the pandemic. So it was a summer program. We're in the process of putting it back together because, just ironing out the logistics. When it's coming to kids with this COVID thing, people are really like, real like delicate about it, and kind of like the responsibility is one of the big issues, or liability. So but this was the program there. After that, we have our community sentinels program, which is for like a little older age group, which is 16 to 24, teaching young folks about civic engagement. Something they took out the schools. They took civic education out of the schools. We wanted to provide that back. There was kids that was in my program that was in 11th, 12th grade with outstanding grades, and they didn't know who the councilman was. They didn't know what district they stayed in. They were just totally devoid of the knowledge of knowing anything about civic education. Everybody was looking to the White House, not knowing that it's local government, your councilmen in your community, et cetera, those that make decisions on some of the resources that, is right there. It's people who you immediately have access to. And they was walking past these people's offices, didn't know what these offices was, didn't know their district, et cetera. And remember, these kids were like 11, 12th grade, about to graduate, and just didn't know. So we was also teaching conflict resolution there, intervention, and a way to like intercede and mediation. A lot of times our kids are getting into conflict. At the end of the day, they just going for what they know. The old saying is, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. So they just responding because they haven't been given the knowledge of like conflict resolution. After going through this program, doing this program, realizing that once our kids got that knowledge, they start to resolve conflict different. We start to have different type of results. Instead of individuals standing on the outside looking in, waiting for the principals and the bouncers to come break up the fight, you had individuals that was actually intervening simply because they was given those tools and those knowledge. And here goes some of our community sentinels, also, which are part of our program. This is a senior housing that's over in Watts. We had these individuals come out to feed these seniors, letting them get a chance to see what that was like. It's always a big gap between the old and the young, and I'm always that type of person trying to bridge that gap, bringing folks together and having that experience. So, just them young folks been out there to feed these older folks out the community that was different, but then these older folks seeing these young people come and not being a threat, but people that was really just there for their interest and want to cater to them on this particular day. I mean, you can see the smiles, et cetera. It was a wonderful event. But these individuals are part of our community sentinel. So as we run our program, it's just not a program. We actually put them involved. We let them see what the community work is like. We let them actually feel that, right? And give them a run of that meal. And again, the whole thing is just like hoping this stuff set in to where you never know, like, what you may say to a person, how it may change their life later. And also that experience is key. So we just provide that experience. Here's some other individuals, part of community centers, graduating, et cetera. We help them get their CPR cards, everything, just kind of like put them in position. This was an outstanding program. It was also being sponsored by Nick Cannon. He came out there to kind of support our kids with this program right here that was happening right there in Watts.
And this is our youth engagement, always giving our kids kind of like opportunities after that. So what we're going to see here is a couple of slides where Homeless Free America, an organization that was in the community that was feeding women and children, and bringing up the showers and everything right to these different encampments and letting folks get an opportunity to shower. We tied some of our community sentinels like with them. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like part-time jobs, helping them kind of like get the word out there, passing out flyers and pulling these showers and stuff up to locations, these encampments where homeless folks was at, to allow them to shower. So these are some of our youth from our program helping out the Homeless for America team. Same thing. We had an opportunity with COVID-19 to get positions in the community to let some folks from our community set up shop to where they was just doing COVID testing. And the ideal behind it was just that, as long as they hired folks from the community. And what we've seen with this is around like Christmas time, the time that we in right now, holiday season, crime kind of like have a certain type of uptick, and sometimes they're arresting young folks. But during this particular time, and I believe this was like last year, we had like 10 people out the community coming to get hired to work the COVID site right here on 103rd in Wilmington. We talking about a high traffic zone. Jordan Down Projects is here, Blue Gates, several housing complexes right here. In one day, these kids wound up testing 969 people in one day. These kids are so busy with work and had a bunch of stuff to do. What we realized is we were able to chart and look at things and make comparisons. The levels of crime did not go up, or they went down from the year prior. And I definitely, my opinion, attribute that to young folks having opportunities, being put to work, and being able to do something where they can actually go home and contribute, around Christmas time. And this is some of the graffiti that was happening in the community. As you see, that was a wall that was highly with a lot of graffiti, etc. So we got some of the kids out there. I'm an artist as well. And what we want to do is kind of like, this was during the time of the pandemic. And we put a mural up there. So I helped the kids kind of like prep it. These kids were so excited just to play around in the paint. It was remarkable. But they put this mural up there as we kind of like help them set it up and get it done, protect our essential workers. What you notice is you see a lot of blue spaces. That wall had not been like, defaced it for over like a couple of years. And what happened was people out in the community, when they was pulling up to this area, because it's right by my shop, they seen they kids from the community actually out here doing this. And what we got from that was like community buy-in. And as a result of us getting community buy-in, the community came in, invested in that mural, and they also protected it from graffiti, etc. And that's what it wound up looking like when these kids was done. So this is here the iconical Shop of Watts, which is my shop right here, the Ambassador Shop of Watts. These slides about to close pretty soon. And just showing kind of like what the space looked like up inside here. I put this over here in Watts because every time I have folks come over here, they always like, man, this thing don't belong there. It belongs somewhere else, like in Melrose or something like that. Stuff that's coming to the community that people don't commonly kind of like see. And my thing is, no, it actually belongs in Watts because, I was always told in order for you to be it, you got to see it. Kids got to actually see it. Hearing it and seeing it is one thing. So right here in their own community, they get to hear and they get to see and they get to experience this shop right here, which is really inspired a lot of them to want to be entrepreneurs. And that's why we came with our entrepreneurship workshop and program that's helping kids become in a position to do exactly what we're doing there. So here's one of the young folks inside there. This picture in the middle is so key because that's what we give the kids, because it started off like that with me. So you see a heat press, a printer, a computer, and a Cricut machine. I was able to produce so much out that shop to reduce costs, limited third party, and be able to give it to the community at an affordable rate. Always factoring in demographics, kind of like as I do business, and knowing the projects is around me, et cetera. And a lot of folks is kind of like, underserved community, historically disenfranchised, and the economy is not that high, but still be able to get them some fly and outstanding stuff like right here in the community that they can afford. So the kid you see right there, everything that he got on, as far as the red sweater and the hat, he actually made that with those machines right there inside the shop. So this in the shop, again, we call it iconical because so many different people like come to that space and place. This is Brian Odega, who was actually running for Council District 15. He came inside the space to kind of like, make sure his face was seen in Watts inside that shop. For some reason, people feel like, it gets them clout for people in the community to know that they done been inside the ambassador shop. So all the candidates that came in there on many different times. And this is just a picture with Brian Odega and his team. And here we go with the ambassador shop program. So as we started this program, I wound up acquiring the space. I was letting kids work inside the shop, but what I started to notice that, man, the capacity, the growth was just growing, and we just didn't have, what we needed to be able to kind of like, have 3 or 4 kids right there working in a little small section as they trying to design their stuff, learn more about the space. So it gave us reason to build out. So as we build out, I also bring these kids along. A lot of times nowadays, kids don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to mow the lawn, they don't know how to water the grass, etc. So what I did in this situation is I put them to work, because sometimes you have greater value in something when you see yourself actually in it or doing it. So this is what it is right here. You see young folks coming up inside here doing the work. Here, this is what the space wound up looking like when they finished it. Look at that. So all those machines and everything that you have around there, all this stuff is out of pocket. So you have directed garment machines inside there, DTF, directed fabric machines inside there. You have silk screen machines inside there, airbrush machines inside there, heat press machines inside there, 3D printers, 3D lasers, you name it. And again, that was something just like out of pocket, slowly but surely just throwing money to the side and investing in this, investing in that. And as we built the space out, that's what it looks like there. So these are kids right here inside the space, actually learning and designing their own stuff, actually putting down the order, as you see those hats right there, from an organization I work closely with, which is the LA Voice, who kind of explored our programs and gave the youth opportunity to make their own, to make their own visors for them. Here on this slide, if I can get it, there we go. So here on this slide here, as you see right there in the middle, that is Tim McOsker. Tim McOsker just now run Council District 15. When the space didn't have everything in there, you see how high low it is. All we had back there was a chalkboard and those 2 TVs that we just got finished mounting up inside there. The space was hollow. We was already up in there with one machine, which was like a heat press and our embroidery machine. So we made Tim McOsker and his wife some watch shirts, and that's him putting on this page, saying how he done came down to the Reverence Project Youth Entrepreneurship Program in Watts, and how Rock is helping these kids, like, saying, getting their own businesses, etc. Law enforcement then came down here. This is a space in place where the whole community is just talking about it. The investment is crazy, and people's just like, wow, because they realize that it's a big difference between saving lives and changing lives. I could save your life today, but if you don't change your ways, you could lose it tomorrow. But if I change your life simultaneously, I could save your life, because you're gonna move in a different way and not have yourself in certain places and spaces. So next slide, just a couple of kids right here. These kids right here, bro, outstanding. They made these shirts right here. And I'm always putting black and brown folks kind of like together, young folks, teams, and making them kind of like work together. And just to show you a couple of videos, just some of the work that, these kids is doing right here on the machines. Watch videos. Look here, young folks getting it, man. Look at this. Operating these machines over here. Ambassador Shop and Watch Youth Program. Making these watch things. Let me see this right here. What he's making? Good. Ooh-wee. Dang, man. Young folks. That's just those kids right there. And I'm going to show you this guy. He's making masses for a person's funeral. Just kids just doing their stuff. Just, again, providing them with the opportunity. Masses up, putting them together. Folks' funeral coming up. Young man over here doing this. Let them know what's happening, Jaden. Getting it, huh? That's right. There she go back there. See you back there, Malaysia. Getting it. What we got over here? Nasir over here. What? He cleaning up? That's what you're doing now, Nasir? You cleaning up nowadays? You learning? All right, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. We got extras. That's right. Never wasting material. Making it count for the community. Yes, yes. So that was video as we were still putting the place and space together. That was that. Here's a couple of other kids who put their design together. They came out with the Watch Time design. That's them printing their stuff out on top of the director garment machine. And there's some other kids inside here just with their Watch concepts, etc. Just create the space for these kids to kind of like just go to work. Same thing, art in the hallway. Got parents that come down here, family, etc. And they just so proud, where it's like, damn, they're seeing something different, and they can really see, like, the future for their kids. Like, I get people all the time tell me I ain't got to worry no more. And this is kind of like just me there. But my famous quote that I always like to make, that the difference between failure and success is opportunity. And that's me right there, accepting the award from the councilman of the assembly, Mike Gibson, for the work that I'm doing down there in this district in South Central LA. Thanks.
Yeah, you can stop sharing your screen, good brother. All I gotta say, I gotta wait till you. Can you see us now, Rock?
There we go.
You can see me. You can see me because I make sure you can see me, brother. Can you see
No,
me?
I got you, brother. No
See,
doubt.
community. This is why I love the hidden gem segment. You know all the negative things. Let me bring Sakati up here because I already know. All right. At the end of the day, impact is impact. Now I'm the only difference. It's a lot of similarities. This is why I tell people this work. This all we all doing the same thing in this work. This is why we got to work together. But the one thing that I will say that I don't do, right? I always tell people in this work, I don't change people. The young people I work with, I don't change them, right? And the reason why I say that because the young people change themselves. When I tell people I work with these young people and they turn their life around, it had nothing to do with me, right? All we do is give them seeds. We give them information. They take that information. They make the change. I don't believe in that. I don't go, I'm changing lives. People be out here, I'm saving lives. I don't do that. All we do is give them game. They change their own life by changing people, places, and things that they do. But what you got going on down there is powerful, brother. This is good that you here tonight. Okay, because both sides of the conversation, we're going to bless you. Okay, we're going to have you make some gear for it. Because it's for the young people. One thing about me, if nobody knows nothing else about both sides of the conversation, when it comes to the young people, I will open up my wallet and cut that check without a question asked about my young people. Now, Sakati's been telling me about this t-shirt guy. What up? She kept saying, John, you gotta go check this brother out. I said, Sakati, bring him to the bishop, okay? And we're gonna make sure that we impact them. All right. We're gonna bless you, brother. I'm just proud of the work you're doing. For the sisters out there, because I get this stereotype that black men are not doing anything around this country. I hear it a lot. There's a negative stereotype out there. Black men are not stepping up to the plate. Ladies, when we talk about changing the narrative, we got a powerful king on here, not only impacting itself, the community, blessing the young people, making impact. Brother, happy to have you here, bro. All I can say is amazing. Amazing. That's all I can say, amazing.
Okay, that's all you can say. Yes,
Shut
you
him
are
down, Tony.
so
Shut him down.
amazing. Oh my God, what you're doing for the youth. I mean, you got to come to Oakland. You got to come to the town. Like, I got some stuff I want to be made. I want my name on some stuff. Like, I want to put my order in too. But no, for real, that's amazing that you giving job opportunities, mentorship, and keeping these babies off the streets and really opening their mind to like making money and being creative. It's so much that you shared. I'm like, wow, like, dang, why y'all didn't have all this stuff when I was a youth? Like, I could have been a millionaire by now. Like, I'm a little jealous of the youth of today because they got so many more opportunities than we had. But I'm happy for them too because they are our future. And I just want to say I'm proud of you. And I heard you mention Time Done. Like that organization, I just keep falling in love with them every single week. Every single time I hear their name, every time somebody come on this platform and they recognize them and they bring them up, it melts my heart all over again. So I just want to say yes, King. Thank you for doing what you're doing. We definitely got to tap in. I definitely want to get some stuff made for my own personal logo. It's just dope.
Thanks, brother. Doubt. Thank you, guys.
Man, and I just want to say, the transformation part, I think you are definitely what black men need to see. And this is why I say this show is so important. When you could go through incarceration, right? And this is why I tell people every day I'm in these spaces. I'm in there with the supervisor. I'm in there in these different meetings, right? And I always tell people, I believe in second chances. I'm like a little kid in Disneyland sometimes. I tell them, I believe in miracles. Okay? I believe in miracles because I know it's people like you that been through some things, who go through things and come back and really make impact. And this is why I tell people in this country, all across this country, we got to be open to giving people opportunities. Sometimes when people make decisions or get into trouble, incarceration, sometimes it's out of survival, sometimes it's out of substance abuse, sometimes it's out of mental health, sometimes it's different things that put us in these situations. A lot of these folks who go do their time, they get an opportunity, they come back to the community and have great impact. And we got to keep highlighting those people. This is why I wanted to bring people to this segment. We need Black men in our community and women to be vulnerable of their past, the wrongs that they are righting right. We got to see this because sometimes people just, oh, well, this person got out, he reoffended. It happens. I work with these young people. Sometimes they get out, we give them all the game, all the things, and they make a mistake. It happens because the stuff that's going on in the community don't change. We work inside of the jails, work inside of the prison. They getting the work, they doing the work, but the people outside ain't doing the work. So there's a high possibility that, yes, they're going to reoffend if we don't put them in the right position. Programs like yours, this Reverence Project that gives these opportunities to our young people, to people in our community, is the exact things that we need to invest in, right? And I always tell people when people come home, they got to have this stuff. You can't be telling them the cohort already started. You got to wait 6 weeks. Sometimes that 6 weeks is that opportunity for the devil, the stinking thinking to come in, right? And it's like, how do we be intentional? How do we make programs? How do we get our nonprofits? How do we get our schools? How do we get our businesses to get behind a second chance and making sure when people come back into our community that they have a pathway, an opportunity for success? And again, what you're doing is so powerful. See, this is the real violence prevention work. You know what I mean? When you are saving young people, when I mean saving, this is giving them an opportunity to saving them, right? I mean, you're giving them an opportunity to do something different, make some income, an opportunity to build a skill set. Again, every kid in our community is not going to an HBCU and they ain't going to Harvard. Just what it is. But when you have outlets, when you have vocational skills, you have places and organizations where you're doing, this is a greater impact. I always tell the young people, having a trade, having a vocational skill, you can go anywhere and make money doing that. You could go to college and do all that, and you might not get the same opportunity, right? So again, you're changing that narrative. We are happy you are here. Let me tell you, I was excited. I was just sitting there watching, like, doggone. This is what it's about. And it ain't we about uplifting each other, right? And this is why I was telling Tara earlier, how do we bring our organizations together? There's a lot of power within our community. It don't matter if you in LA, we in the Bay, we don't matter if you in Texas. How do we help make sure that our community get access to the information, these opportunities? All right. How do we get these philanthropists and all of these supporters and all these folks who want to talk about equity and inclusion? We want to help the community. These are the programs. These are the organizations. These are the leaders that we need our philanthropists and our people to get behind to uplift the movement and the work that they're doing in the community, because it's very impactful stuff. And brother, the rock. All I can say is the rock. I ain't gonna call you Philip. I'm gonna just call you the rock. Because you got to be solid. And that's why I always tell people I'm not a square. I'm a triangle, okay? And the reason why I'm a triangle, because I have great foundation and I'm sharp on the top, but you can't be the rock. Solid. Good brother. Man, powerful stuff. Thank you. I see Sakati up there. I know that's your brother from another mother. Sakati, do you want to say anything to the rock?
Well, I want to say something to the bishop. Rock, I've been telling him about you since Hector was a pup. And I get where John was coming from, but my biggest thing was I knew what you were doing. I've seen what you're doing. And there's nothing, just in my opinion, there's nothing greater than a man stepping in and taking the time to nurture kids. Contrary to what you may think it is, you are nurturing minds, you are nurturing hearts, and you are recreating in a lot of those young men something that they never got at home and probably will never get at home. But you have shown them the ability to get up, dust yourself off, and keep it moving in a different direction. Because doing the same thing, wanting different results, is purely insanity. But you taught them not to do a 360, but a 180. So my hat off to you, brother. That's why you one of my favorites, because, you know, what are we without our youth? Our youth is who our future is. And if we're not showing them the right way, by A, you're showing them by what you do daily in your life. And then B, by not just giving them, but helping them with a craft. You can give somebody something to eat every day, and that's hindering them. But what you did is, instead of feeding them, you gave them the pull and showed them how to fish so that they don't have to keep coming to you for sustenance, but you've taught them how. And then you've also placed in their minds what most people have failed to do, and that's to teach them that we came in this spot being entrepreneurs. So you're teaching them how to be entrepreneurs as well. So I just want to say thank you to you for that. And thank you, because what's up, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But yeah, I'm really proud of you, bro, and keep it up. If there's ever anything that I could do to help out, I'm down like full flats with it. Because the work that you're doing, especially in the community that you're doing it in, is so necessary. And like John said, I would like to reiterate, we got to get together and figure out how to build that same plan, not just here in the Bay, but all over California and across the United States. These kids are not hurting each other because they can. They're doing it because A, they're unhappy, but B, like John said, an idle mind is always going to be the devil's workshop. And we gotta give our kids something different. So hats off to you, brother. Much love to you. Maybe one day you're gonna let me have a little baby over there running around doing too much. I know you said no before, but I need to borrow the baby sometimes. But
Well,
again, brother, on a serious tip, blessings to you and thank you so much.
Thanks.
I
No doubt.
appreciate you. Now, Rock, hopefully you're gonna stay and listen to the bishop's benediction.
The benediction is coming,
Yes,
y'all.
he
Hang
be
in
with
there.
it.
We almost done, but I want to say this because Sakati,
Sir.
now you was telling me about this, brother, but you wasn't giving me the juices. See, Sakati got a way of telling the story. John, you got to do this, but she didn't give me all the juices. So she left out some of that. But see how
John
everything
hard-headed, Rock, so don't believe that. Tony
So
can
listen.
vouch for me.
This is how everything works. See, this is why this show is so important. You are here for a reason. And tonight, it was the right night because we're going to bless you. When I say we're going to bless you, we're going to bless you, okay? We're going to get some stuff from you. And we ain't coming. We're going to come with it. Me, Pretty Tony, we're going to get some stuff. We're gonna lay you out, brother. We're going to support you big time because that's what we all about. And again, I'm always going to support my people. All right. And again, Sakati have been letting me know who we need to go to. She been telling me you got to get your hoodies and your stuff made from this brother. And just seeing the work that you doing, we're going to definitely connect with you and we're going to impact you, brother, like no other. Okay. We're going to impact you. So just know my word is bond. Everybody that comes on this Hidden Gem segment, know if I say I got you, I got you.
Yes. No, I just want to add one thing. Greatly appreciate that. That's what I doubt. Kati May mentioned two things. The shows have been great. She stole my motto. But that was one of the mottos that we have, though. In this country, like as far as especially with us, like we have taught people how to be like dependent for too long, dependent on Social Security, dependent on EBT, just dependent on a bunch of bullshit. I know people where they dependent on GR and they won't get a job. I'm like, bro, GR is only $220 a month. Listen, you can make that in less than a week. And it's like, so now we got to teach our folks how to be independent. I think entrepreneurship is it. I mean, look at the pandemic. There are so many people who kind of like, thought they had careers, thought they retired from their jobs. A lot of folks thought they just lost those things and they got to start all over again. So the whole thing, my motto is just simply, as she said, just like teaching people how to fish. And it goes to the model, Jesus made in the Bible. The man asked him for a fish. He's like, nah, if I give you a fish, you're going to eat for a night. So let me go ahead and teach you how to fish. And then you'll be able to eat for a lifetime. So that's the motto there. And lastly, I'm gonna say, like, with the word rock, we got to have meaningful names. A lot of times, we have people who don't know the meaning to their names, and guess what? They engage to a lot of meaningless activity. So I remember I had an individual by the name of Anzar Muhammad, and he helped me turn, my name into an acronym. So ROC actually stands for Righteous Orator Communicate Knowledge. So that's why I go by ROC, and it's always something solid too.
Wow, very deep. Now the sister Tara, I don't know if she's still backstage. If she come up, I'll bring her up because I didn't want you to acknowledge her and all of that and not get to say it to her face. She backstage. Let's see if we can get Tara to come up. And I definitely want to make sure y'all get to speak. If you're there, Tara, let me know and we'll get you up. But good brother, this has been powerful. I mean, and this is why, again, we do this, and this is why Tony always say like how important the information is to our community. So many people. Oh, there she go. The queen is back. Oh, look, we caught her in the middle eating good. Look, she's like, y'all caught me in the middle. but it's great to get this information in the community. Y'all are our two highlighted hidden gems tonight. And Tyra, before I let you go, because the brother talked about math, and these are what these connections about. And that's what we do here at Both Sides Conversations, and make sure that folks are connected. But the brother spoke highly of you. And I just wanted to give him an opportunity to say it to you and just chit chat with you for a second, because that's what it's all about, uplifting and supporting each other. And I know it's been a long night and you've been hanging in there, Tyra. So, Brother Brock, if you just want to, say anything to the sister, because I want to give y'all that
Yeah,
opportunity.
no doubt. I can say much. You said, like you said, it's been a long night. Pathway, the route that you're taking is kind of like ideal. I think it's super genius, and it's always different. Like I'm the type of person that like to do different stuff. I like to kind of like find out what's missing and kind of like fill in that gap. And I think again, as I said earlier, mathematics has been it's like the Achilles heel of a nation. And I think like once we kind of like get our math right, we start thinking right, we'll become like more problem solvers. It's like when we use math a lot. Somebody will tell you something, you say, you know what, that don't add up. That's a mathematical language. When we say like we calculating in thought, that's the same thing. Like we calculating in thought. Like so a lot of people don't register it, and mathematics has been like so difficult because folks kind of like scared by the ideal of math. But like, when you give it to them like raw and uncut, you're able to bring it down to earth. That's why I think kind of like relatable examples is always cool. We learn best like that. And just seeing that you're out there doing that and on that pathway. I thought it was just me, but definitely want to appreciate you for doing that. And I'm gonna say my inspiration. I was in the fifth grade. Knew a lot about math, a little bit. My multiplication table, we say that in my time page. And I had a black teacher, and her name was Miss Majid. And her son was actually a mathematician. And I remember the question she asked. She asked like, what was like 7 times like 5? It was just some division, but then it came down. We had to do some mathematics. It was 7 times 5. It's like always an awkward number for people. But I knew my multiplication table was up to 12 since I was in third grade. My mom like impressed that upon me. So I was like 35. And then from that point on, she used to call me a mathematician. And really, I was like one of the baddest kids in her class, you know what I'm saying? But it inspired me, you know what I'm saying, just from like that point, how she used to refer to me. And that was in the fifth grade, black teacher that I had in LA. So that definitely does like matter. And again, I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing, and hopefully, the impact that you're having. You never know who you might have. You might have the next Einstein that come up out of your class. So thank you for that.
I just want to say thank you too. Like the work you're doing is amazing, and I was listening. I just was stuffing my face. So, I really would like to connect with you. Like everyone that's on like Hidden Gems right now on both sides of this conversation. It's been like such a good experience. I'm learning a lot. I'm always open to hearing, and like Tony was saying earlier about resources, like for me, it's like I've learned how to navigate the system, and like you were saying, it's important to be that liaison to make sure that I can connect people with these resources in mathematics, and also like you were saying, like math is the most important. Like I know people, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go study business, but you have to go up to calculus 2. Like you have to go up to calculus to get a business degree, and it's so important to like just have a standard background in math, because no matter where you go, like engineering, a little bit of technology, everything you do, it has math in it. And so you won't be successful. And I know so many people was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something else because it's math. And I'm like, if you actually put in the time, you work out your brain, it's like a muscle, and you continue to study and like put in the work, like you can actually do it, so you're capable of doing it. Sometimes you just need resources, and you just need the support and the motivation and like the self-confidence. Like so many times, like I've been in class and like other people next to me, they're like getting in, everyone like shooting it out, and I'm just sitting there like, and then I have to remember, like, I'm not them. I'm in my own lane. Like every day is my own. And like everybody learns different, and every experience is different. And so like I really hope to combine that sense of healing in mathematics, and just not even just math, but science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, and kind of turning it from a barrier into a healing tool. So that's what's really important for me, is I want to share the love that I have for math, and with young women, young Black women, folks of color. And I know that if my brother was still around, if he had opportunities like this, like Tony was saying, that some people don't have access to this. And so like, I don't want to ever be the gatekeeper to these resources. I want to give back to my community. And that's what's really important for me.
Very powerful
John,
stuff.
can
So
I
I
say
know you,
something
I
really
know you
quick?
met Sakati then, because she goes to Cal Berkeley too. So I'm sure y'all ran across each other. But again, you know, we are getting our name out there. More and more people are understanding what we do. Again, it takes time for people in the community. Everybody get their information different ways, but we're going to continue to do our part. You got our information. We'll get it after the show. We can all just stay on for a couple minutes after. We'll connect. But yeah, that's our job, right? When we talk about changing the narrative, making sure that the resources and the information and awareness gets to our community, that is what we're doing here at both sides of the conversation. And we're going to work with all people to make sure whatever you have, we don't want gatekeepers. We don't want property pimps in our community. We don't want people oppressing our people. We want to give our people opportunities and access, right? When we talk about access, equity, we talk about access, and how do we push it forward? Okay, we got to push it forward, and it starts with you folks here tonight. I know it's getting late. We got to get out of here. But Tony, did you want to give any final words? Anybody give any final words before I give the benediction? Because I know a few of my followers out there like, I just want to hear the benediction from the bishop. I'm gonna give it.
I just want to say thank you so much to you Hidden Gems for coming on the show. Like I want to make sure that like when we leave this platform that we really stay connected, because you know sometimes when we're in space together we get excited and we get eager and we have all these ideas and then we forget about one another. So let's just please not forget about one another, because we really need y'all. We really need y'all. And even if we're not working one-on-one together, the resources that you have, the connections, the ideas, like we have to continue to keep working together and keep having conversations so we can move forward, so we can ascend together. Again, what you guys are doing are amazing. Queen, I'm so proud of you. Miss China, you know I'm gonna call you that. I'm gonna have to call you that. I'm sorry. I hope you're okay with that. And King, what you're doing as well, creating entrepreneurship for these young kids. You know, it's even inspired for an adults. And I'm sure people were watching like, man, if that brother can do it and he helping these kids, then I can do it too. You know, and people may not say that to you because they may feel embarrassed. But this platform, you don't have to be embarrassed. You don't have to feel shameful or nothing like that. So thank you again for what y'all doing for our community. And again, let's stay connected beyond this platform.
And with that being said, everybody's been waiting for the benediction.
No,
It is
you said
time.
no. What about me?
Go ahead, Sakati. Go ahead. I thought y'all
Dang.
okay. I'm getting
I
ready.
just want to say hey to Tara. Great job you're doing. Keep it up, because they do not think that Black men and women can challenge the system when it comes to STEAM. They don't think that we have the mental, they don't think that we have the tenacity, and they don't think that we have the staying power. And I don't think anybody understands how hard it is for people of color to get into Berkeley. It is extremely hard. So hats off to you, because I don't think people know how hard it was for you to get in that place and to even maintain. Because when I turned around in my class of 150, there was 2 of us. And you know how we do the or so hats off to you, because it's hard for us to get in, and then when we get in, it's harder to stay because of the culture shock. So hats off to you, and continue to do the great job that you're doing. And yeah, Bishop, I know the benediction about to break it off. Do your thing, Bishop. I'm gonna need to get your robe too. I need to get your robe.
I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, let it shine. Now, let me stop, y'all. We got to get to the video. Look at Tony over there. See, Tony just getting me all worked up for this Sunday, y'all. It's gonna be a mess this Sunday. Okay, I'm gonna make sure on purpose. All my single brothers, tap in with me, because we're gonna get them that single love that they need. Real game, okay? But with that being said, it is time, community, for the benediction. Y'all been waiting all night. I got my towel ready. It's time to give the benediction, because every show we have to end with a positive wrap up of what took place tonight. As you all know, this is our Hidden Gem segment. We always highlight phenomenal people in our community, businesses. We always uplifting our people. Again, we are the organization that is changing the narrative from the voices of our people. Tonight, you heard two powerful hidden gems. They came on and lit it up strong. They hit it hard. Community, we talking about math. We talking about education. We talking about ascending on another planet with the information. If you just take the numbers and put them all together, you heard somebody say one mistake in the mathematical problem could cause chaos. In our communities, these numbers haven't been adding up. The violence in our community has been impacting our people and all of the folks in the community because something just didn't add up right. Whether it was the drugs, whether it was the substance abuse, the mental health, something didn't add up and calculate to the right equation to make sure that everybody had an opportunity with equity, an opportunity for advancement, an opportunity with access. But today, our hidden gems have came on to give you that information, to let you know Black excellence is real. Black educators is important. Black entrepreneurs is what it's all about. When we talk about mentorship, you heard from the brother, The Rock. It is so important to pass the torch to the next generation of young people. Through our experiences, through our story, through our testimonies, we can move our communities forward. It doesn't matter if you made a mistake or your journey took a lot of roads, a lot of dips, a lot of obstacles. The Rock is a representation of what a second chance look like. You could take the bad space that you are in and make positive change in our community. You could take the strength that you have of the testimony and push it forward to the young folks to move them forward. All it takes is a little bit of patience, a little understanding, a little bit of love, and you can make a difference. All we have to do is step together. Tonight, you heard it so many times. Solidarity, working together, uplifting each other, being open and willing to give someone an opportunity that might not get it. You heard the Queen. She went all the way to China to go to school, to learn another language. Young Black folks, don't tell me you can't go learn something different. She took a chance. She had the story. She's been through the obstacles. She's done with the trauma. She's lost folks, but she was still able to overcome her traumas, her PTSD, the things that she went through to still learn something new, come back and give back. If that is you out there listening, going through something, maybe you lost a loved one this year. Maybe COVID took out some people in your family and you just want to give up. The light is shining tonight. The hope, the perseverance is here. That's what it's all about. Keep persevering. Keep moving forward. Keep marching to the tune. Every day, we just have to step and stand. Step and stand. Through the numbers, so many things can happen. They say sometimes numbers don't lie, people do. Tonight, you see the numbers. You see the people that are here. It added up. Something clicked. I don't know what mathematic expression it was, but it lined it up. And the equation is in the positive. It's not in the negative. It's in the positive. I guess if you have a negative and a negative, it's a positive. Or if you have a positive, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in algebra. But I know if you do the right things and you put the right numbers together, a positive could come out. Tonight, you've seen two positive lights in our community. Two powerful people that are impacting the community. Together, we could do it. We could work hard. We could push together and uplift each other. Through this platform, we will continue to make sure that the resources, the information gets to our community. Parents that are listening tonight, Tony said it earlier, the mathematics have changed. The numbers have changed. But you have two people here tonight that are willing to give back and teach and help and put those resources that our young folk get an opportunity to advance their education. We know the pipeline to prison is real. We know that the system is put against us in our educational realms. We know that they are intentionally trying to fail our young people. What are we going to do? Are we going to stand here and complain? Are we going to do like the Queen is doing, giving back, educating and preparing a generation of young folks to move forward? The brother The Rock said it the best. All we have to do is just do it. Keep impacting, keep uplifting. You'll be recognized. Don't do it for the pay. Don't do it for the acknowledgement. Do it because you're pushing our generation forward. Be that open mind. elders of the community, pass the torch, be a mentor. Make sure that you're doing your part so that our community can move forward. With that being said, that's the benediction, y'all. Thank you for tuning in and watching, because this was very powerful. And if you missed something, to my folks on the East Coast, I know it's late. Tomorrow, make sure you tune in. Check out these two phenomenal folks. Make sure you go follow them on the social media handles and connect with them. And to all our Black educators out there, do your part. Don't give up on our community. There are parents out there who need you. Don't quit. We know some of our kids come to school with a little attitude, not paying attention. They just need a little extra love because of the violence in our community, because of the hate in our community, for some of the things that goes on in our home. Lead and educate in love, compassion, and humility. With that being said, community, this Thursday, we will have another Educational Thursday. We will bring financial literacy to our community. We're talking numbers. Part of that financial literacy deals with math. As the brother said, everything deals with the numbers. So join us this Thursday at 6 p.m. Learn about financial literacy and what you need to do. It's going to be a great presentation. And then this Sunday, community.
This Sunday, community.
This Sunday. Y'all see that? They already trying to block me, okay? This Sunday, we are going to have the women of the community come on and talk about what they want. Y'all
and we go set it off.
Y'all heard it from the brothers. All we want is silence, and they can't be silent, okay? We just want silence, okay? But the sisters are taking over the platform this Sunday. The ladies are taking over. I will be the only brother in space with them. They try to kick me out already. I said, no. If Tony can sit in with the brothers, I can sit in with the sisters. Fellas, I need y'all help. Text me, inbox me, send a message. They're going to be coming for me. I'm going to need some help. All my single brothers, come on. I need some help, okay? Y'all make sure y'all be in the space with me. Help me out, because these sisters going to be coming for me, and we're going to be ready. But it should be a great conversation. Again, community, our fellas out there, let's keep it respectful. Again, it's really about how do we listen and hear, and how do we pull these conversations together. And then after this conversation, we'll be bringing some of our males and females back to have a real relationship conversation so that we can figure out how do we pull Black love back to our community. We know there's a lot of hurt. We know there's a lot of trust issues. We know there's a lot of pain. We know there's a lot of bitterness. We know there's a lot of imaginary. Nah, let me stop. We gonna do our part to make sure we be a part of the Black love change and making sure that we bring Black love and relationship healing to our community. It's not easy. It's a difficult task, but again, it should be a great conversation, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you all for tuning in and to our community. Okay, it is cold. If you are in California, northern and southern, it is cold. Please check in on your elders. Make sure that your dogs are in the house. This weather is getting colder and colder each day. And just make sure that our folks in the community are supportive. If you have extra blankets, coats, or any kind of extra things that you give out to our unhoused brothers and sisters, please do it. There's a lot of people sleeping in cars, RVs, sleep on the streets. It is freezing out there, okay? Don't just step over to folks. Find some of that extra stuff in your house that you're not using and making sure that you do your part to also help impact our community. You don't have to have a big organization to give back and make impact. Sometimes it's just pulling up with an old blanket, laying it on top of somebody who's laying on the concrete. But again, let's all do our part, okay? And to all the folks, get out to the job fair tomorrow. I know a lot of employers are laying off folks. There's strikes going on all across the California state right now with our nurses, different folks. Okay, it is real times that we're in. So if you are an organization with resources, please make sure you're doing your part to help give back to our communities. Our people are suffering and hurting, and they need support from us. And that's what we're going to do. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. I am happy to be back in space. Pretty Tony, great job tonight. Sakati, thank you for being here. And to the two hidden gems, phenomenal gems. Y'all not hitting no more. Our community is going to be hitting y'all up and checking y'all out. Thank y'all all for tuning in. I bid you all good night now. Be safe. Enjoy the evening. We love y'all. We'll see you soon this Thursday.